Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Chud Watch. How are you doing? Let me get this camera situated more or less. We're in the middle of a hype train. Thank you everyone very much for all the hype train stuff going on. We are at 35% to level 3. Let me go back and do your bits messages and everything. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday and a great weekend. Lilara Vex says, hello friends, hello, how are you? Xandris, thanks for 15 months at tier 1, says, let's enjoy some Chud's molding. Obowan, thanks for 15 months, says, 15 months now, Hannah, let's have all the fantastic streams. I'll do my best. Queer Goblin Lass, thanks for subscribing at tier 1 for 15 months. H. Baird, thanks for 100. Choo Choo. Oh, there's like a pokey thing in this necklace. Obowan with 100 bits says, should be time for a train. Now, let's hype it up. Obowan with 100 bits says, bring the hype. Obowan says, hype, hype, hype. Kirthan says, pre-stream hype. Queer Goblin Last, thanks for gifting 3 tier 1 subs to the community. MW1642, thanks for 100 bits. Queer Goblin Last, thanks for gifting a sub. Pseudosapien, thanks for 13 months, says, more like Shapiro no, am I right? Maria Pete with 100 bits says, woohoo! Nick says, Catterday Hype Train. Obowan, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. And Kirthan says, Hannah, I love your top, your blouse is nice too. Blackwing Hecate says, I had D&D today and our wizard almost died. That was basically every session when I played the professor, so. Jody Girls, thanks for subscribing for 7 months, says, almost a sub, baby. Bumble Homestead, thanks for 15 months, says, oof, tornado warnings are scary, glad you're all right, a Texan. Yeah, we're a little later today, I was planning on starting around like 4:30 or so, but, had a tornado warning, so we had to take the kitties and go down into the basement for a while, so. Silver Rosestone with 100 bits says, your hair's so cool. Thank you. Baja did it for me. Procagom, thank you for gifting 10 subs to the community. Very much appreciated. Let me see if I can figure out what's poking me with this necklace. What is that? Hey, Baja, could you come in here for a second if you're listening? Hype Train 190%, thank you. So let's see what we're taking a look at today. I thought we'd take a look at this channel that I found the other day. We watched a couple videos, but I really love it. It's called Bad Preachers. It's basically really extreme right-wing preachers. So we're going to take a look at some of those. Ben Shapiro is upset because Sports Illustrated has put a trans woman on the cover. I don't know if it's the swimsuit issue or something else, but he's very upset about it. Tim Pool, commenting on Biden taking a shot at QAnon conspiracy theories and claiming that him making fun of QAnon is pushing us to the brink of civil war, because of course he thinks that, because he's Tim Pool and he's got a grift. Grunt Speak, Terrence Popp is upset about a men's cuddling group, something that affects him zero. Elliot Hulse, bitching about porn yet again. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. Vegan Teacher, upset that someone isn't vegan, surprise. And then Let's Be Frank, is upset that the UN has been invited by Biden to study racism in the United States. And then we have Right Wing Watch, Right Wing Cope stuff, so. Nick says, Terrence Popp probably should have been hugged more, probably true. And Blackwing Hecate says, Benny Boy, was also upset that Ben and Jerry's are being, well, Ben and Jerry. I know, right? Could you come here for a sec? I need help with this necklace. There's something like poking me. I don't know if there's like a wire or like a tag or something. I don't know. It's like right here. Yeah, we're live. Do you see what I'm talking about? Okay. Sorry, it's just like stabbing me in the neck. Please, no vegan teacher. How about this? I'll bump her to the end, and if we don't get to her, we don't get to her. She'll be the first to get bumped if something needs to get bumped. A minute left on the hype train at 225%. Says, look at this polite little man, Holly Hoomst says. Cute. Oh, guys. Okay, so I have 2 shows to report on, by the way. While we're doing the end of the hype train. Okay. So that Sexy Beasts show on Netflix. You know the one I'm talking about. We watched the trailer for it. We watched Ben Shapiro watch the trailer for it. Kezi Stardust, thank you for your 6 months. And 0M80 says, let's get to level 6. I wish that was possible. Okay, so remember this show, Sexy Beasts on Netflix? It's the show where they put the blind date contestants in special effects makeup. And it disturbed everyone, including furries. I watched all the episodes. I binge watched it. Their episodes are 20 minutes long. And there's like 6 of them. So I sat down and I watched all of Sexy Beasts. So you don't have to, okay? 245% of the hype train and it's about to end. Thank you everyone for such an excellent hype train. I appreciate it. Okay, so here's my review of Sexy Beasts. Sexy Beasts is ideal, terrible, trashy, dating TV. It's obnoxious. A lot of the characters are obnoxious. The special effects makeup is pretty cool if you like that kind of stuff. Like, there used to be a show on Sci-Fi, I don't know if it's still running, that was called Face Off, where they did special effects makeup competitions. Very good makeup. If you like that kind of stuff, it's cool to look at, it's cool to watch them, whatever. I was entertained. I was playing a video game and I had it on in the background. It's 6 episodes. They're 20 minutes. It's a formula. It's fine. It's no worse than any of the other trashy reality shows Netflix puts out nowadays. It's fine. The issue I had was the entire premise of the show is ostensibly judge people for their personality and not their looks. But every single person on the show is like what would be considered traditionally attractive and hot. Like, there's never a reveal where someone picks someone and they take off the makeup and they're, like, schlubby or even, like, average looking. Really? There was one person on the show I thought wasn't attractive. One. And even then, that was a very subjective opinion just based on my taste and how people look. And I'm not going to point out which one, because why would I do that? But everyone was, like, a traditionally hot actor or model person. It would have been a much more entertaining show if every once in a while they took off the makeup and they were, like, not traditionally attractive to see the reaction. I don't know. It just feels hollow when they're like, oh, this show is about, you know, learning to love people for who they are and not what they look like, and then every single episode they make the reveal and everyone looks like a model. It's incredibly disingenuous. But otherwise, if you're looking for some trashy TV, it's probably fine. Second review. This is a show Baha and I are currently working our way through. This is another trashy reality show. This is called I Love a Mama's Boy on TLC. Mike Max with a cleanse link. Thank you. We'll save that for a little later. Let me see. Can I actually pull up a video of any of this? So, this show is one of those trashy TLC type shows. Hold on, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you, okay? I'm gonna have to edit this part out of the YouTube VOD, but that's okay. Let me see if I can just find, like, a cringe compilation. If you love shows that make you uncomfortable, you're gonna love this show, because it is full of the creepiest the creepiest mother-son relationships you've ever seen in your life. The most, like, emotionally incestuous weird shit, and it just makes me want to die in Minecraft. So, let's take a look at maybe a clip. Johnny, can we pull up a clip? We'll go with this one.
I have seen, like, 2 marriages that you had that didn't pan out the way that you planned, honestly. Not to be a jerk, but honestly, they didn't. But it's like, at the same time, I never felt like this about anybody else the way I did with Steph.
I think you're just, like, rushing into things. 26 is still a baby.
But I'm not that young, though. I graduated from college, like, 5 years ago. Like, I'm not that young. What is it about Steph that you don't like?
Before you lived with her, you called me every night to say goodnight. Now you do almost every night, but not all the time. Well, and now you've started skiing. You never skied.
Because I always played basketball.
Because nobody skis when they get older.
What do you mean no one skis when they get older? Half the people on the mountain are older. You don't even know what you're talking about. You've never been.
When you ski, you're supposed to start when you're little. It's dangerous. And I don't like those pictures you send me on the ski lift with the mountain in the background. That gives me heart palpitations.
I need something to do in the winter that's fun. I'm an athlete.
Playing basketball.
Yo, but I
Call
can't.
your mother.
Okay, but
I will come meet you here. We will play basketball. There you go.
After Michael's father passed away at such a young age, it's...
H. Baird says people call their parents every day. Most people do not.
kind of like it wakes you up to think that someone at that young of an age can pass away.
M.H. Darkby says, hope you're doing well today. Did Baja tell you Cirrus went after the call video? Cirrus is a good egg. He can be added to your protected files when you take over the world. Noted. That is nice, though. I love Cirrus.
But that's why I am as careful as I am with his choices.
It's like I feel like I'll be in between you and Steph, and it's like this girl that I love is pulling me one way, you calling me on the other hand, pulling me this way. I'm over here getting stretched out, and it literally feels like it's a competition between y'all two.
Well, it is a competition.
I can't with that, though. What you need to come to terms with is that the best for me at this moment right now, to me, is Stephanie.
Okay, well, we'll see. I'll help you figure that out.
Why do I need your help with figuring that out?
Because I'm your mother.
But that's not the answer to everything. That's not always the answer, is because I'm your mother.
That's the way it should be. I should always be first, okay? If Steph is the one that you end up with, then she could be 1A. But don't forget that I'm 1.
Yeah, I gotta show you the worst part, though. I gotta show you the worst part. I hope the clip is on there somewhere. How do you spell lingerie? Someone tell me how to spell lingerie. I don't know how to spell it off the top of my head. It's like lingerie. Something like that. This guy goes lingerie shopping with his mom! And then to pick out items for his girlfriend, and then he buys his mom the same thing he buys his girlfriend. Cosmic Cats, thanks for 7 months, says happy anniversary, hope you're doing well.
Valentine's Day this year, Mom said she would go and help me get Cam a gift.
This looks beautiful.
I want to put a little more spark back into mine and Kim.
Hey, Vadim. I'm great, how are you doing? Square MF, thanks for the bit, says, yo, what's up, Hannah? Been watching you and Jake since way back. Well, thank you.
Relationship.
Chillin'. I'm glad you're chillin'.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's certainly spicy.
Yeah? There is some intimacy that has fallen short because, you know, we do live with my mom. And she thinks that my mom sometimes is around a little bit too much.
I'm Eve. What's your name?
Oh, hi, I'm Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
It's nice to meet
nice
you.
to meet you too. Hi.
This is my
nice to
son
meet you.
Matthew.
Hi.
Basil, thanks for following. After we watch this vid, we'll get into the Chud stuff. I just wanted to show you how fucked up this show is.
Nice
to meet you.
So what brings you in?
Well, my son wants to get something beautiful for his girlfriend with a little bit of razzle-dazzle for Valentine's Day. I was hoping that you could help us.
I've been in business for 13 years. I do not have a lot of mothers and sons shopping for lingerie at my store.
Come on in. Let's
Okay,
talk.
great.
Yeah,
Thank you
let's
so
talk.
much.
Yeah.
That's really weird to me. But hey,
I appreciate it.
I don't know.
This is stunning.
What do you think,
Love
Mom?
you too.
I like it. Wow.
Hold on, I gotta show it to you.
Okay.
You want to hold her for
Yeah.
me?
All right, let's go here.
Got it?
If I ask my mom her opinion, I'm gonna get a for sure guarantee of a good response. If you had to pick, which one would you go with?
I do like the cheetah.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
What do you think? Which one do you like?
I think this one might be better. I think it's gonna make him feel sexier.
Sexier?
And it's different.
That's true.
Which is good.
Okay.
So, and I think she'll like that more.
It's spicy, elegant, so I don't think we'll have any problems.
Yeah, it cut out the part where he buys his mom the same thing he bought. He doesn't buy that particular lingerie, but he buys like a nice silk robe for the girlfriend, and he buys the mom the same one. And then on Valentine's Day, he gives the gifts to the girlfriend, because they live with the mom. And the mom comes out in the same robe, and it's very awkward. If you want a trashy TLC reality show,
Definitely that one. It's actually entertaining.
it's messed up. It is, it viscerally hurts me. You hope it's just acting. It's a reality show.
Yeah,
It
so
wouldn't surprise me.
It's either completely fake or heavily produced.
Yeah. I know one of the guys is an actor. The guy whose mom seems racist because his girlfriend's Korean. He's an actor.
Okay.
So if any of them should, in fairness, I want them all to be fake because they're all terrible, but like that one's
Well,
bad.
if that dude is an actor, his mom must also be a really good actor, because...
No. This guy comment following says, "What the fuck? This is all kinds of Oedipus complex." I literally said the other day when we were watching it for the first time yesterday, I was like, I think the second this show went on the air, lightning struck the grave of Sigmund Freud and he came back to life.
Hello, everyone. Hannah and I had an adventure.
Yeah, tornado warning, had to go to the basement, but we're all good now. Someone confronting to... Ooh, it's starting to poke me again. I think. Maybe not.
That's good. Don't even get my... I don't care, man. Dude, you are the worst human being known to mankind. I want you to know what you have done to this state, to the United States, to everything else in this world. I don't care that your daughter's here. What you've done to people's families, what you have done to everybody else in this world. Don't call me son. One.
Tucker looks so uncomfortable. What he said was, "You're the worst human being known to man. I want you to know that what you've done to this state, the United States, what you've done to people's families." Tucker Carlson's such a piece of shit. Did you guys see, was it Rand Paul? Hold on. Rand Paul had a town hall in the last few days, and I gotta find the clip. Nick says, Tucker Carlson is capitalism personified in Gray Fox. Thanks for subscribing for 15 months. Yeah, this is good. Rand Paul had an online town hall. It did not go as well as he would like.
We'll go ahead to our next question now. Mrs. Alexis Toon You are live with the senator. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Senator. I am a proud Kentucky citizen, and I just wanted to tell you to get fucked.
All right, we'll go ahead to our next question.
Plaid-O-Matic says, why is that woman wearing Lego hair? A lot of people were making jokes about the obvious wig in the comments. That's always, for one thing, I try not to make fun of people's appearance, just because you never know what's going on, and also, people can't necessarily change everything about their appearance. It's just a cheap shot, and if I'm going to criticize someone, it should be about what they're doing, not what they look like. But secondly, like, what if that lady was going through cancer treatment? She might be a shitty person, like, I don't know, she's working with Rand Paul, so she probably is, but, you know, don't assume, don't make comments like that just because they're easy to make. You never know. Make fun of her for working with Rand Paul, not because she's wearing an obviously fake wig, because you don't know why she's wearing it. It's none of your business. Okay, let's watch this real quick, and then we'll get into some right-wing watch stuff.
I'm Dick, and I'm here to announce the grand opening of my brand new pizzeria, Dick's Pizza. Not sure how much dicks you can handle? No sweat, because even our smallest dicks are 10 inches long. Pardon? There's a bunch of dicks at your door, we deliver. So get off your computer and eat dicks. For more information, click here. It's big and it's gooey, it's saucy and it's chewy. What's in my mouth? It's gotta be dicks.
Poet Lover says Tucker Carlson is also surprised that the NSA is monitoring his communications. Like, duh, Tucker, they do it to all of us. The only difference is most of us aren't white supremacists. And Nick says, kitty bits to snipe, with an Instagram link to a cute kitty. Oh. Alright. My faith in humanity is high enough that I can now destroy it by watching Right-Wing Watch. So let's see what all these people are up to today. Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers heaps praise upon radical right-wing commenter Josh Bernstein. I admire you so much.
Thank you, Josh. You are a courageous champion in a sea of muck, in a media milieu that you definitely stand out in. You have a command of the law, and I just admire you so much. I know we've sort of just met over the last few months, but you know, you are brave, and you need to not, you know, you need to acknowledge that. There are very few of you, especially in Arizona, who stand out as knowledgeable and brave. And
I think this is the same senator who is into election conspiracy fraud stuff. And she was calling for like a new election in Arizona. So, great company.
Gardeners, okay?
This is the same guy.
Joe Biden is a pedophile. I have said that on numerous occasions. I'll say it again, all right? I wouldn't trust Joe Biden with a classroom full of kindergartners, okay? Seriously, he's a sick, demented, twisted old fuck. And his son is just as bad. And
remember when he used to require evidence to call people pedophiles? I miss that.
Apparently, his son learned how to become a pedophile from his disgusting, corrupt father.
They are obsessed with his kid. Guys, I'm telling ya, Hunter Biden has a big dick, and I saw him eat pizza while getting a foot job. I could not respect that man more than I already do.
Joe Biden is a...
Nick says, friendly reminder that Wendy Rogers only hates traitors that hate the U.S., not traitors that love the U.S., like Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. Oh no, Wendy Rogers says, I like Indians, and oh no. And I like this racial epithet. I like Aunt Jemima, and I like Uncle Ben. I like Robert E. Lee, and I like Stonewall Jackson. I don't like traitors who hate America. Stand up for our culture. Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Robert E. Lee is a fucking... It's a literal definition of a traitor. Oh, I miss when words meant things. What happened?
They steal this from Trump. There's 65 plus million Americans thirsting for revenge. And let me say this to the hard left Marxists out there, to the Antifa, to the Black Lives Matter, to the left-wing groups that are funding him, to the right-wing watches, to all those people out there. We are ready, willing, and able to do what we have to do to protect this nation and to make sure that this country is never going to be a communist nation. And if it's an us versus situation, trust me, it's going to be them.
Did someone disturb McCarthy's grave at some point in, like, 2015 that stirred all the people fear-mongering about communism? I know that's been a pretty big through line in America since, you know, after World War II, but it feels like it's upped in the last 4 years, the whole, like, scaremongering about communists. Very weird. Mike Mack says, now let vote for a guy that liked to see women in the dress room and had affair with a porn star, a true Christian American patriot. Also, what exactly date is Trump returning in August? I think the QAnon people think it's the 13th. Could be wrong, though. Did I watch He-Man yet? I had to laugh at all the chuds crying about it. The Quartering even called the classic Orko hyper-masculine while complaining about the new series, Orko. No, I didn't watch it yet. Have I read that letter from Joe Biggs from prison? Is he the guy who was part of the Proud Boys? If so, then yes. I did read that letter. It was hilarious.
About bribery, and that's what we're seeing right now. I mean, it's a Luciferian way. Hey, when we're confused about someone that we love, such
DeSantis, the governor of Florida, came out and was like, hey, get vaccinated. And now all the right-wing crazies who are anti-vax are very upset about it.
Just DeSantis, I don't want to speak bad about him, but we have to literally go to where there's confusion. We have to go to the scriptures. Because I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. None of us have the answers. That's why we keep on talking about this and we're keep on going and going and going.
You know who does have answers about a virus? Virologists.
But hey, remember, God says in Genesis 12:3, I will bless those who will bless you. And him that honors you, I will curse you. And so if you're stepping out and saying, hey, I'm a sellout, take the vaccine. And then more importantly, how do we know, or who do we know is in Ron DeSantis' pockets? You know, I love the guy. He's a great leadership. I look up to him in many ways, but we have to give him the opportunity to speak. But
the Republicans, Mitch McConnell included, and DeSantis in the past week or so have sort of changed their tune on vaccine and gotten a little more on the side of openly in public telling their constituents, hey, go get vaccinated. I'm wondering why that is. I think the market took a dip on reports of surges in coronavirus cases, and of course the various variants and stuff like that. So I would assume that because their donors are primarily the very wealthy who care about the stock market and stuff like that, maybe they got a call and it's like, hey, we need to get this under control. Or, more interestingly, perhaps they realized that making their constituents, specifically those who vote for Republicans, the main targets of a global pandemic, while the opposition are vaccinated, probably not a great long-term strategy for maintaining a base. Either answer's interesting.
Joe Biden is evil. Okay? I believe he's a pedophile, based on what I've seen. The videos of him with his hands all over other people's kids all the time. It's terrible. It's disgusting. I believe he's a pedophile. I believe he's evil. I believe he's under the thumb of China. I think he's their Manchurian candidate, but I think he's also a complete idiot.
He's both the most powerful man in the world with secret satanic plans and figuring out how to, for decades, get away with diddling children, but he's also an idiot. Okay? He's just Mr. Magooing his way from one child to another, and no one's caught him? I don't know if that's how that works, but okay. Greg Locke in July 2022 says, ignore the haters, massive exposure is coming. And then he says, to be clear, I've changed my mind about nothing. Trump will remain president. Biden will be exposed. America will remain free. Revival is coming. And this was January 18th, 2 days before Biden was officially sworn in as president.
it's primarily meant to minister to young men and to disciple them and to give young men a place to congregate where they feel safe. Because, especially here in America,
there's a war on young men.
yeah, a lot of young men feel like they're under attack, and they are under attack. The culture warriors in this country are breaking down traditions, morals, family structure. They've been doing this for decades, and they are aiming their guns at young men. They want to feminize them.
That reminds me, Baha, I assume you're listening, you're in chat. I forgot to take my meds today. Could you bring me my estrogen, my T blockers, and the omeprazole, please? Also my water. I don't know where my water is. I'm sorry, I know you're doing work. That's the last thing I'll ask of you. At least until later. Wink.
They want to demonize them. They want to criminalize them. They want to,
depress them.
Depress them so that they will not act like the men that God created them to be. Right. Where do young men turn to be affirmed in their identity as a male, a straight male, living for Christ in a pagan world? Where do they go right now? It's a place for other Christian men to congregate with other Christian men, and
sounds a little bit like Christian Mingle mixed with Grinder. Oh no, I'm all tangled. Oh shit. Oh shit. So he wants a safe space? That is kind of what they want. What did I... Oh god. I've tangled my headphone in my necklace. I can do this. I can figure out a necklace. There we go. I'll be back in a sec. Did you happen to hear me? Oh, thank you. I just wanted to make sure. I appreciate it.
Guys, I had breakfast about 3 months ago with the head of a music department at a major East Coast university. And I want to protect this individual, but if I told you the name of it, everybody listening would know the name. This is a major state-supported school. The head of the music department is a born-again Christian. August of last year, when they had faculty orientation, the music department was told, you can't use the word sheet music. You know, the score with the music. And we've always said, okay, we're going to perform this. Everybody get your sheet music.
This is definitely bullshit. I'm curious what his weird fake justification is going to be.
Don't say sheet music, because you know who wears sheets.
I'll take things that have never happened in history for 500, Alex.
The KKK, white supremacists. So students feel threatened if you say sheet music.
This is why I don't put any sheets on my bed. Only a comforter, okay? I don't want to be racist.
What?
I know, I'm making a joke. Thank you.
I love you.
Love you too.
Oh my god.
And don't, correction fluid, don't say white out. Because white is a bad word. So
yeah, that's insane.
Go in a store and try to find white out. Little by little, it's been...
Don't they, Here's what I don't understand. Like, I'm not saying everything I've ever said is 100% correct, because I'm fallible. I'm sure I've said things that I was mistakenly led to believe were true that weren't at one time or another. I've been online for a long time. That's gonna happen. But I don't understand how you outright just make shit up and lie every single day like this to further your political goals. And you don't make the connection that, oh, if I have to lie constantly to push forward the rhetoric and message that I want, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if the only way I can defend my worldview is through outright fabrication, maybe my worldview is just shitty. You'd think there'd be some self-reflection.
Called correction fluid. One other thing, in this particular music department.
Is whiteout not a brand, too? Yeah, whiteout is a registered trademark. So the generic is correction fluid, there's also liquid paper, but whiteout is a trademark of the Bic Corporation. See, whiteout and the little R? That's because that's owned by the Bic Corporation.
Of this state-supported school, this earned PhD from Missouri State.
Watch, idiots are gonna go to their store and see, like, off-brand whiteout, not called whiteout, because it's never been called whiteout, because whiteout is a registered trademark, and they're gonna go, that guy was right. Look, this off-brand liquid paper doesn't say whiteout on it. It must be because the liberals are so worried about whiteout being racist. H-Baird says, when I was in denial about being trans, a lot of what I did was train myself not to notice these types of connections. I feel you there. Cognitive dissonance sucks.
But he's on the East Coast leading a department. They were told, don't tell your violinists they have to tune their instruments. And we have a tuning fork, A, 440 cycles per second. That's European. That's male.
First of all, I don't think most people use tuning forks, nor have they used tuning forks. When I practiced learning guitar, I didn't use a fucking tuning fork. I used a tuning app. Or they make little tuners that you can, like, have for your instrument. Tuning fork. Is this 1953? I missed some bits from Mike. Says, I mean the conservatives are killing themselves to own the libs, and these idiots just realize one reason why they lost the election. I guess so.
Of justice, always been a champion of liberty, but his referral to the DOJ, I want to commend Rand Paul. He's always been a champion of justice, always been a champion of liberty, but his referral to the DOJ, I think, is well-founded. You can just go back and very simply look through the clips of Dr. Fauci speaking back in May or even subsequent months after that, and you can tell he has directly lied.
This is something that's also right-wing watching that Baja just sent me. It's a screenshot from John Doyle's Instagram. He retweeted a different, or whatever it's called on Instagram, retweeting, you know, reposting someone else's content, from an account called Right Wing Trad, and it's a quote from John Doyle, and it says, "This was your country, and they took it from you without asking," and there's blood splatter all over the meme. Fun. I look forward to my days of hiding in an attic from John Doyle and his ilk. Maybe I'll finally learn a new language. Or I'll fucking die. I don't know. Fascists are just the worst.
Lied to Congress. And so when Dr. Fauci when Dr. Rand Paul gave him the opportunity to actually recant his statements, he declined. And then when Rand Paul started pressing him further and said there will be consequences for those responsible, I'm not sure if you noticed in that clip, you see his...
Hey, Sushi Mom. Sorry you've been having some anxiety stuff.
Hands start to shake uncontrollably.
We've missed you too.
A lot of people say, oh, well, that's uncontrollable rage. No, that is fear. Because Dr. Fauci knows he's been working as a pawn of the Chinese Communist Party. He's been funding...
Why did Reagan appoint him then? That seems weird. Don't you guys love Reagan?
Through the NIH, which with our tax dollars, what I consider to be militaristic research on how to make an animal virus more transmissible to humans. So I think it's very well founded that we refer those to the DOJ. Jenna, I will just tell you, unfortunately, the DOJ right now is under the control of the Biden administration. So
Nick says, conservatives, why do you call us Nazis? Also conservatives, insert literal and Nazi-like propaganda here.
What's going to come of it, I don't know, but I'll tell you, when we take the majority back in 2022, I'll make sure consequences are doled out. But we want to prosecute this guy to the full ability of the law, because I'll tell you, to lie to the American people just to get your name in the news, just to see your face on the cover of books, just to get fame and fortune.
Fauci has been working for the United States government since the 1980s. He's fine.
I'll tell you, Dr. Anthony Fauci does not deserve either fame or fortune.
That guy's a piece of shit. Ilium Gal says, a props of nothing other than to counter the chuds with the wholesome queer stuff. I went to a small English market town's first ever Pride event today. It was nice and full of lovely people and families. The town was the rather wonderfully and appropriately named Bun Gay, and they flew the Progress Pride flag from the ancient battlements of the even more appropriately named By God's Castle. That's wonderful. I hope you had a good time. E-Tune, thanks for subscribing with Prime for 3 months.
Against your conscience. If you know, because God told you, we're all created by God in his image, and God gave us certain rights that no man can trample on. If you know in your heart that something is wrong, that someone is telling you to do is wrong, do not comply. It doesn't matter if there's a law on the table or not. Do not go along with that. That's your responsibility. If everyone does that, it all ends today. And if they try to press their luck, we have the Second Amendment.
At what point does that become just a call for violence that you can be arrested for? Because I've been hearing that kind of rhetoric a lot more recently from the right. Just saying. Obowan says, Manathan Cawthorn does stolen valor all the time. He makes it seem like he was paralyzed while in the military, but his friends and he were drunk driving and got into an accident. Lovely.
Take hope, my people. Take hope, for it is not lost, not nearly. For I'm going to give you what you've asked for. But I'm going to have to remove some generals to do it.
This guy, if you haven't seen this segment before, is a guy who claims to be a prophet. He predicted Trump would win the 2020 election. He was, of course, wrong, and now he's very much on the conspiracy theory, election fraud, bullshit grift.
Generals, yes. I'm going to remove them. Just because stars are upon their shoulders doesn't mean they're mine. For promotion came from the Lord, yes. Harvest was given for seed sown. But when they set themselves to undermine my nation and my covenant people, then they've gone as far as they will go. For this is the time to take two down. Yes. Will I replace them? No. No. You will hear a sound rising through the ranks. All my leaders will come.
Oh no.
You're about to see a brand new government in this nation. You say new? Yes.
It's like he tried to sing for 3 seconds and then he remembered he can't sing at all, so he went back to spoken word while just holding his guitar. Mike Mack says, Republicans, the left wants to ruin the country, also southern states. Civil War II, electric boogaloo.
New to you. What it was meant to be. Just hold your hands up, have faith. Just believe. For now the Red Sea's falling. The ice walls begin to melt. Hold your hands up. Keep on moving forward. I will show you where
he should probably stick to the whole prophet thing. He's better at it, and frankly, he's not even very good at that. So that should tell you something about his music skills. Oh, have you guys heard about Mike Lindell's bullshit challenge? This is funny.
The $5 million will be all of these guys there, all the cyber guys, I don't care if it's media, they can dig into all this data. If they can prove that it's not valid data from the 2020 election, the November election, all of this...
This is the interesting thing. So, Mike Lindell is hosting an invite-only, quote, cyber symposium, where he's inviting people to come and look at his data. And it's a $5 million challenge, and if you prove him wrong, he'll give you $5 million. No one's going to get $5 million. And here's why. It's actually incredibly disingenuous what he's doing. So what Mike Lindell has been doing with his bullshit documentaries and his grifter tour have been taking election data and then misrepresenting it in such a way as to make it appear that there is fraud, or making false claims of fraud. They're misinterpreting the data, they're fudging the data, etc., etc. So you'd think, oh, this $5 million challenge, you have to show up and show that he's wrong, and then you get the $5 million. No. Listen to the wording he used. You have to prove that the data he got is not valid election data. Now, the data he got, as far as I understand, is real data from the elections in terms of, like, voter turnout and results and everything like that. Him and his people are just intentionally, I would imagine, misinterpreting said data in order to draw conspiratorial conclusions that are not justified by the numbers. So he's making it seem like, well, if no one claims the $5 million, then it means we were right all along about fraud. It doesn't. It just means that they're drawing false conclusions from data that they actually got from actual election sources. It's incredibly disingenuous, devious, and pretty gross. So I'm sure Peter will use this as evidence at some point in the future. Hydrate.
We have it all. We have 37 terabytes of information. So another thing, Steve, is they're going to be able to go up to one of the computers. It'll be like a little kiosk thing, and they go up and they put in their state, they'll put in their town, maybe their precinct, and you dial it up and you see, here's what was reported for the election, and here's what really happened. And then they can look in the back side of that and say, that's not true, that can't be. What do you mean Donald Trump won 80 million to 68 million, which he did?
He did not.
So they're going to go in there and the cyber guys are going to look at what you see.
I actually didn't see the Shapiro deGrasse Tyson trans thing. I heard people talk about it, but I haven't seen it.
Behind my head right there, and they're going to extrapolate this data over the 72 hours. They can, you know, here, you want Georgia? Here's Georgia. You want Arizona? Here's Arizona. And they can dig in. Show me that it's not valid data. We're going to have the lawyers got that worked out, the details. You can go on frankspeech.com right now and we have a detail page. We're going to keep adding to that. But when they come in, there's going to be, I believe the lawyer said we got a team it's a board of five cyber experts or whatever that they would just show them that this is not valid from the 2020 election. It's going to be...
So Mike Lindell hires the people that get to decide whether or not you win the $5 million. I'm sure that's very, very reasonable and not at all skewed in his favor.
But we put a lot into this. I put up the $5 million because you know what? I'm tired of they're going to try and discredit it before that, Steve. Well, you know what? Why not?
Honestly, at this point, I don't even know if Mike Lindell has $5 million in liquid cash. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure he has over $5 million in assets, but, like, he hasn't been doing well recently. His pillow has been, like, pulled from basically every store. I don't know if he has $5 million liquid on him.
CNN, if it's you and you're going to try and do this, or whoever, why don't you come to, I've invited them all to the symposium, so come there, you know, why don't you prove it there so then you can win $5 million?
If you deny the existence of Jesus Christ as the irrefutable one and only God, you're an idiot.
I am an idiot.
So if you are an idiot, I don't know what's wrong with you. If it's a masochistic spirit, you want to show up here and just...
It's definitely masochistic. I would like Jesus to whip me, please. Nick says he talks like he's been drinking $5 million worth of a certain kind of liquid.
Sort of be an idiot and then, I don't know what that is. So if you're an idiot, you know, what I'd encourage you to do is get out a sledgehammer and smash yourself in the crotch. Because it would be less painful for you to hit yourself in the crotch while we all watch than it would be to go through life as an idiot. So...
Jokes. Mike Mack says, when will the right realize we don't live in their fan fiction? Answer, never.
Anybody here, if you're sitting by an idiot, just look at the person next to you. No, seriously, look at him. This will help me. That way I can get back to good things. Look at the person next to you and go, are you an idiot? Everybody look at him. Now, this is very important. And then continue this conversation in the grocery store. Are you an idiot? If someone's hiding behind, you know, plexiglass, they got 2 masks on, they're probably an idiot.
Yes, it's very intelligent to not listen to doctors. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, pretty sure there's plenty of smart Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists out there. Yeah, it's almost like your religion is completely detached from whether or not you're an intelligent person. Weird.
Tom fucking...
is still Cyrus, and he still has unfinished business. And we've gone in depth on that before. And he still has the Isaiah 45 assignment to take down Babylon, which for our purposes represents the deep state. It is much more embedded.
What conservatives fear?
What do you have in mind? Just trust me, Brian. I know exactly what to do. You've got to be aggressive. Even more aggressive than Michael Jackson's treatment of his own groin on stage.
Yeah, I've seen that. I'm sorry, I don't find Family Guy funny anymore. I used to like it a lot when I was younger, but eh.
In a much wider root system than we possibly imagined, maybe. And so the timetable is driven by God. You know, there's an aspect of people ask why we don't know that.
You did not miss the Sports Illustrated bit yet, no.
The prophetic doesn't get those things. There's a whole lot of things that the Lord is not revealing. It's not just because they're bad prophets. You can't say things you don't see. And the more you understand what's going on, it would literally mess up strategy of how the Lord is doing it. You know, if he's using certain individuals in the world and certain leadership and certain militaries to...
The church was meant to rule and reign in the earth.
Oh good, more Christian supremacists. Blackwing Hecate says, wait, if Trump is Osiris, does that mean he's missing his willy? I don't know enough about Osiris to get that joke, but I guess Osiris doesn't have a penis, so that's cool.
We should be baptizing presidents.
I think every single United States president has been Christian. I don't think there's been a single United States president that is not Christian.
Look, y'all gotta love this. This is why President Donald Trump gave his life to the Lord Jesus Christ. Because he says, when I first met him, he was like, you people have a lot of power.
That's an indictment. You understand that, right? That's Donald Trump saying he wants to become one of you not because of the truth of your statements, but because he believes he can use you for political influence, right? You just outed Trump as... I mean, everyone already knows, but, like, you just expressly said Trump became a Christian and started talking to evangelicals because he felt that your political influence would be helpful to his own ends? Does he know he just did that?
But have you heard him lately? He prays in the name of Jesus.
Does he?
Our job is...
Remember that time a reporter asked Trump what his favorite book was, and he said the Bible, and then someone asked him what his favorite verse was, and he couldn't name a single verse in the Bible?
These tours is to light a fire back up under the church again, to get you out of the pew, get you out of the chair, and get you back into the world.
Yeah, he said 2 Corinthians, too.
It's time.
It's 2 Corinthians.
To get up and get back into the world. We are the next president of the United States. We are the next... Look, I ran for Congress in 2020, and they did steal my election. That's what...
So he lost.
I'm running again in 2022, but I'm taking the power. the church.
Yikes. Blackwing Hecate says Biden and JFK were Catholic, and the first, 3 were deists. Catholicism is Christianity, despite what I was going to say libertarians, despite what Protestants might like to say, or evangelicals. And yeah, the deism thing is probably true. Nick says, light a fire under the church. Some people might take that a bit literally. And Mike says, are we ignoring the freedom of religion, or is it only for Christians? It's only for Christians as far as they're concerned.
To witness protection, according to my contacts within the federal government, because he was about ready to expose the Clintons. Kobe Bryant was invited by the Abson Institute out of Colorado, December of 2013, to take part of the January 2014 Clinton Global Initiative, Now, Kobe Bryant spoke here in New York City during the month of January 2014. Kobe Bryant, woman of God, was also a part of the Clinton Global Initiative's Haiti Fund, which millions of dollars, which was earmarked to the Haitian people as they needed help to recover from the Haitian earthquake some years ago, was stolen by the Clintons, beginning with this couple, this Bonnie and Clyde couple, Bill and Hillary Clinton.
I think that's the nicest way I've ever heard Bill and Hillary Clinton described, as Bonnie and Clyde-esque. Obi-Wan says Jefferson and Lincoln are the 2 presidents who did not affiliate with any formal religion. People called them Christian, but they were non-following. Simple Cat Girl says, hey, Hannah, well, I'm not new to watching Twitch. This is the first time I made an account. I want you to have some bits because you're lovely. Thank you.
Room at the hospital, I do want to tell you that a week ago today, I put my husband I took him to the emergency room at the hospital because I was worried sick. He was not breathing. He was in really difficult circumstances. And when he was placed in the hospital, we found out that he had COVID pneumonia. When I talked to the doctor a week ago today, this is Monday, he did not give my husband, Bruce, who you hear, who you guys just love. You've talked to me, many of you, written about how you enjoy when he joins me. His wisdom, his voice was fighting for his life. The doctor told me he was, within of the people who get COVID pneumonia, he was of the top 5% in danger. And so you can imagine what last week was like. That's why I wasn't with you on the air. Saturday night, I was able to bring Bruce home. So he's home on oxygen, and of course he's not strong, but I am thanking God. And
he's probably going to have respiratory problems for the rest of his now shortened life. Congrats on being an idiot.
Just completely thanking God.
He wasn't vaccinated. This couple is anti-vax. They're like a church couple.
And yes,
they're religious right-wing radio hosts.
If you want,
or rather she is. Sorry, I don't think the husband's a host.
Want to know if I had COVID? Yes, I tested positive as well. I guess that's why I've been sick so many weeks here. Maybe you didn't realize I was, but I was. And we just thought our grandchildren are here with us, and they went to vacation Bible school and came home sick. And we immediately caught whatever it was they had. We thought it was just what kids bring home, some kind of a virus of some sort. We went to the doctor, got antibiotics, got all the treatment we could, but we did not know that we had COVID until my husband got so deathly ill. And so now, yes, I have it too, but I am also on ivermectin, and as of yesterday, I started feeling like a different person. And so, thank you, Jesus. That's all.
How about you? Yeah, someone in the chat said this too. Thank the fucking doctors. Jesus didn't do shit for you. Jesus says get vaccinated, you dumb asshole. Why do you think I sent the doctors? There's a pretty common story where there's a hurricane happening and a town is flooded, and some people are sitting on a roof together, and a boat comes by, and 2 of the 3 who are up on the roof get on the boat to go escape the area. And one of the people on the roof says, no, God'll save me. God'll save me. It's fine. You go. The boat leaves. A second boat comes up and says, hey, do you need help? I can get you out to a safe area. And the guy says, no, God'll save me. It'll be fine. He waits a couple more hours, and then a helicopter flies by with one of those ropes that comes down, the rope ladders, and tries to get him to come on. And he says, no, God'll save me. And the helicopter leaves. The flood and the storm continue to get worse, and unfortunately this man drowns and goes to heaven. And the man says to God, God, why didn't you help me? And God says, what are you talking about? I sent multiple boats and a helicopter. Have you considered that the way God can help you is by having doctors develop a fucking vaccine? Stone Corbell says, Sandy, Rios is one of the worst. I've listened to her radio show, so she's a crazy racist. Mike Mack says, funny how the cultists say the left of Trump derangement syndrome, yet they have Bill Hillary Obama derangement syndrome. Don't forget Soros.
That's all I can say. Thank you, Jesus. You might say, well, does this change your mind about vaccines? And I have to say, I'm not ready to declare, I have to just be honest with you at all times, which I am. I'm not ready to declare anything yet.
What a dummy.
Not good people. Let's stop being nice about these people. Look, I'm guilty of being too diplomatic and too nice. These are not good people. They're not good people.
They're evil, and
they're evil, and they're wicked.
And they want us dead.
And they want us dead. Let's get it out on the table here.
They called us assassins.
Yes. Let's get it out on the table. They're wicked, they're evil, they're not good. And they want us dead. Is that...
Seems like you want yourselves dead based on your reluctancy to get a vaccine that can save your life.
Clear enough?
It's clear as day.
I say let's meet at Gettysburg. Get this over with.
I don't know if you remember how that went last time. Didn't go well for the conservative side. Didn't go well for anyone, let's be honest. Gettysburg is a fucking horrible, horrible tragedy, but you know. Blackwing Haggerty says, I love the chuds that accuse Soros of being a Nazi, given that he was 5 at the time, and Jewish. Nick says, they want us dead. Yeah, they do.
Hey, listen, this is the times we're in. I mean, this is the reality. These people are ruling and reigning over us.
A bunch of sissified lefties would never come out and meet real men.
Yet, apparently, we rule you? Huh. Weird how that works.
Never. They're cowards. They're a bunch of cowards. They never would come out and face real men.
Yeah, real patriots that love this country.
That's right. They'll never do it.
Nope.
There's nothing but stinking cowards. I'm fed up with putting up with their crap. I'm a free man. I live in a free country. And men died for this country. And on my watch, in my generation, we're watching it being taken from us.
Your generation fucked it. Your generation absolutely helped fucked it for everyone. What are you talking about?
And we're too...
Stone Corbell says, classic fascism. My enemy is incredibly weak and overwhelmingly strong at the same time. And Mike Mack says, technically, free if you under God's control. Yeah, you're not. Sky Comet Fallen says, fascism 101, your enemy is simultaneously cowardly and weak, and also all-powerful.
Lazy to stop it? We ought to be ashamed of ourselves. We ought to be ashamed that we're allowing these cowards to take our country. We don't want to be inconvenienced with putting down a communist revolution.
Well, too bad it's here.
Yeah, all those communists that definitely are roaming around the United States. What a large portion. There are so many communists. Just look at how many communist governors and senators and state senators there are. There aren't even communist members of the fucking House. Are you kidding me? Let's see if there's any good right-wing cope stuff, and then we'll move on. To improve Olympic chances, U.S. women's soccer team replaced by 15-year-old boys team in wigs. That's, the Babylon Bee, that's not even really a joke. That's just you shitting on women's sports. Which is funny, because the right is pretending to give a shit about women's sports in order to demonize trans people, but then they'll make articles like this. Try and stay consistent for 5 seconds, guys. Vast Lunacy says, I love when old people say their country is being taken from them. Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna watch you drive into a ditch. I'm taking the wheel and saving us from a crash. It's also just kind of how all of human history has worked. Yeah, the country's being taken from you. You're old as shit. That's how it works. Younger people take over. Eventually we'll be old, and younger people will be in... That's how it works. Is Candace Owens doing the Nazi thing again, or is this an old...
Dehumanization. During the Holocaust, the Nazis referred to Jewish people as rats. It's another form of dehumanization. Because what has to happen before the mass infliction of any atrocity is the treatment of individuals as subhuman. I'm bringing this up because right now, in this country, in America, conservatives are being dehumanized. I'm going to say that again.
Conservatives are the ones doing the dehumanizing. Hate to break it to you. Mike Mack says, the left like to throw racist to everyone they hate. Also the left are socialist, communist, pedo demons, and Satanists. Dr. White says, to be fair, the U.S. women's team once lost to a U15 boys team. If I didn't know better, I'd think that's what Babylon Bee was referencing. And Nick says, you mean like how Republicans tend to call Democrats demon rats or demo rats? It's not even really a good joke, but yeah, they do that. I've certainly heard it. Texas comptroller may blacklist Ben & Jerry's over decision to stop sales in West Bank, Gaza Strip. Oh, wait a minute. I thought the left did the cancel culture.
Employee a bitch. Completely uncalled for, inappropriate, you're not going to travel. We don't tolerate that crap with us at all. So you can find another period of time. I'd suggest Spirit.
That's some fucking shade at Spirit. Jesus Christ.
If you acted appropriate and you weren't disrespectful, then I would let you travel. But unfortunately, you called my employee a bitch. Did you call my employee a bitch? You didn't.
I was sleeping there. No, I did not.
You didn't. So the other people that heard you say it as well. Don't count. Yeah, she also had 2 children. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, don't lie, because you already did that once when you took the mask off and put a new one of yours on.
I was getting this out of my bag. Yes, I was.
You were putting the same mask on. You didn't have a mask on when you went down. Unfortunately, no. If you don't follow our policy, it's a period end of discussion. You don't want to follow.
Fuck that lady. Oh yeah, this person's reusing the Aunt Jemima syrup bottle. Which is fine. They can do that if they'd like. It's weird, but they're allowed to do it. Doesn't really change anything, but cool. Oh, this was messed up. I read this the other day. I'll share it with you. I survived the Stoneman Douglas school shooting, and my dad is suddenly convinced I'm a liar and part of a false flag operation. Sorry if this is long, but I gotta get this off my chest. I think my dad has gone insane. It's going way too far, and I have trouble processing the last 5 months. He's always been very conservative, but now QAnon has consumed his life to the point where it's tearing our family apart along with my mental health. Back in January, he saw the video of Marjorie Taylor Greene harassing David Hogg, another student, about the shooting being a false flag operation, and while my dad was already into Q, he'd never gone down that particular rabbit hole, and now he's convinced everything was a hoax, and it breaks my heart. He's done, quote, extensive research on body language and claims he can tell Nicholas Cruz is a radical commie actor who was paid to sacrifice his life in order to remove our guns. He's questioning why they released the interrogation footage if not to further deceive the, quote, sheep believing everything they see. He also said the trial will be rigged and the reason they're talking about the death penalty is to prevent him from ever talking just in case. Mike says, at this point, retail workers or any job that interacts with Karens must use body cams. Honestly, everyone should start wearing body cams all the time. I don't even care. Everyone's too shitty to exist in anonymity. Sky Comet Fallen... I'm joking, by the way. I'm not. Sky Comet Fallen says, actions have consequences, Karen. Looks like you're driving. What's really fucked is that he knew I would never want to hear about him or see his face ever again. The shooter, Nicholas Cruz. I've been very clear on that, and I always leave the room when he starts talking about him. I keep telling him to please stop, but there's no reaction or empathy whatsoever. Even burgundy-colored t-shirts make me uncomfortable, and he used to be so understanding he stopped wearing it around me. That person is completely gone, and I miss him so much. Quote, you're a real piece of work being able to sit here and act like nothing ever happened if it wasn't a hoax. Shame on you for being part of it and putting your family through this too. End quote. He'll say stuff like that straight to my face whenever he's drinking, and I wonder if he'd still say it if he knew what it does to me. It's bringing back so much of my survivor's guilt, and I hate him for it. I worked on it for so long, and now I once again feel like the biggest piece of shit for being able to have good days when there are parents still grieving. That dad is an absolute piece of shit. I can't take any more of him berating me and purposely trying to trigger me to see if my PTSD is real or not. He's seen me break down and cry my eyes out multiple times, which I never did before. Sometimes I wonder if he's hit his head or had a stroke because I almost can't believe this is the same person. What is QAnon doing to people? My breaking point was yesterday when I borrowed my little brother's iPad and saw he'd search for things like Stoneman Douglas fake proof and Stone McDouglas real dead body. I practically begged my mom to give my dad an ultimatum to get professional help or move out. She's really timid and hates confrontation, so all she said was to try not being home as much and wait it out. I have no idea how to deal with this. It's too painful for me to keep living like this, hearing his name almost every single day and being accused of accepting money to be a part of it. Even if my dad magically snapped out of this Q bullshit, I don't think I'd ever forgive him for putting me through this, when I was just recently starting to do relatively well. So F him for that, and F QAnon and Marjorie Taylor Greene for ruining my dad. Tucker White says, we need a cleanse after reading that depressing post, so here's this. Nope, this is this a little bit of Fry and Laurie? What is this from? I don't think I can play this, though. It's probably copyrighted. Oh, yeah. Do you see... The Jeff Bezos, the whole thing is so cringe. The fucking cowboy hat is... I don't know how many yes men that this dude surrounds himself with, but I'd imagine it's the entirety of his entourage, if not a single person said, okay, Jeff, first of all, don't do the cowboy hat. Second of all, if you're married to the cowboy hat and you need to wear it, get one that fits better. You look ridiculous.
And then I want to thank every Amazon employee and every Amazon customer.
Go and fuck yourself, Jeff Bezos.
Because you guys paid for all this.
Thanks for shitting and peeing in the warehouse because we wouldn't let you take bathroom breaks. I got to go to space. Pay your taxes, you fuck. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for right-wing cope for the day. Oh, wait. Oh, no. We gotta watch this Nick Fuentes clip.
I'm better than Rosa Parks. Yeah! I mean, what did Rosa Parks really do? She refused to do something she was told? I mean, no offense, but that sounds kind of familiar. That's not nice. But really, she's on the bus. They say, hey, get off the bus, lady. Or what do they say? Get to the back of the bus. And
E-Tune says, unblacklist me, Jeff. I don't know what that means.
she was like, hey, shit, I ain't moving. Okay, so, you know, time is a flat circle. The more things change, the more they stay the same. So she was like, I'm not moving. I mean, that's just, or maybe lazy, I don't know. But me, I've been put on a no-fly list. The FBI investigated me. They took all my money. I'm banned from everything. Conservatives shit on me. So
stop breaking the law, asshole.
I think I'm actually better than Rosa Parks. I think Nick Fuentes,
yeah, you're a Nazi. We know you think you're better than Rosa Parks.
am the civil rights icon of the 21st century.
Tucker White says, how can anyone knowingly give this fuck money, he asks as he gives Hannah his Bezos bucks. Simple Cat Girl says, I'm usually decentralized, I assume you mean desensitized, to this stuff, but I'm still disgusted at people calling hoax at school shootings. Yeah. Messed up stuff. Freedom coffee, for when you need coffee that's freedom or something.
Are the two things that you know to be absolutely true are the 2020 election was stolen and there is a body double that has replaced Joe Biden as president. Absolutely.
Yes.
So if anybody looks at one thing as ridiculous, they should look at the other as ridiculous?
Absolute. Yes.
The two things that you know to be...
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, yes, history will remember 100 years from now the triumphant story of Nick Fuentes, booger-eating neo-Nazi who doesn't think dinosaurs exist. Wait, does Nick Fuentes not believe in dinosaurs? Is he one of those Christians? Alright. That's the right-wing cope stuff for the day. Let's do a quick cleanse of something. Did the sausage guy do anything? Tour of Italy sausage. Tucker White says, I love the right-wingers haven't gotten around to pointing out that Rosa Parks was chosen because, to put it cynically, she was marketable to the white people with power over the original woman for the plan. Yeah, it's actually an interesting part of history and shows that the civil rights movement didn't just happen. It was because of concerted planning on the part of civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and other people who helped do stuff like that. It's not just a thing that happened. Organizing is incredibly important for any sort of movement like that. E-Tune says, I've been blacklisted from working at Amazon because I knocked over a box on a bad day like 2 years ago. That's probably for the best. It's better not to work for them. I say as I privately contract for Twitch, who gets a good portion of my money. Twitch is owned by Amazon, if you don't know. At least I don't have to piss in a bottle. My bathroom's right there, so that's good.
Well, hey, folks.
For the record, I guarantee I make more money sitting here and making terrible jokes than an average Amazon employee does that works God knows how many miles a day, picking stuff from the shelves at Amazon.
And, welcome back, I guess. You know, before we open this, let me just say that every single to-go box opening has been a disappointment. All right, so there it is. Welcome to Italy. We have noodles with Alfredo sauce.
I want Olive Garden very badly now, and I know a lot of people don't like Olive Garden, but I'm gonna be real. My standards are real low. I'm basic as shit. Give me some pasta. I'm happy. I'm a cheap date. Tucker White says, especially important when the original woman didn't project an ideal image for black people. This is a real story, folks. Look up the woman named Claudette Colvin. Yeah, I think she was a single mother, so they decided to go with someone else. 1 second, guys. For the record, when I said I make more money than people working at Amazon warehouses, I'm saying that's bad, not good. Pay them more, Jeff, you fucking piece of shit. The Poetic Fox says, Freedom Coffee sounds like something got butthurt after Black Rifle Company denounced the Proud Boys and made their own company.
As they do in Rome, and chicken parmesan from Florence, and from Naples we got the lasagna. I don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry looking at this. And what Olive Garden experience would be complete without a breadstick? So it's the Olive Garden tour of Italy sausage. That's gonna need a regrind.
That's a lot of carbs.
She looks like a sausage, but she's always a woman to me. In 3, 2, 1, let's sausage. Oh no! That's what happens when you get too loosey-goosey with the stuffer. I'm done. Just gonna do one of these and one of those. Wait, a burst without even being in the pan. That's not good sausaging. That's amateur hour sausaging right there. Stop. It's like one big elephant turd. Parents, now's the time to get the kids out of the room.
Tucker White says, rich bitch Hannah. Silly sods, toiling away for Bezos. Why don't they get a real job by whoring out on Twitch like me? Smokes $100 bill.
Because this Will It Blow is sponsored by Manscaped. Can your crotch bag promo? Well, it made it. I'm gonna.
Is it disgusting that I really want to eat that like completely emulsified pasta stick that he just shot out? I wanna eat it. I wanna eat it so bad.
I have to give that Will It Blow 1 Mark Ruffalo's. Here we go. It smells like the waters of Venice.
Tucker White says yes.
All right, let's open her up and see how we did. As beautiful as the Tuscan sun. Time to taste a little nectar from the gods here. That's a hefty sausage. We should start weighing these things. But first, we have some pretty badly damaged fan art to open. An interesting. All right, let's just go for it. Here we go. It mostly tastes like the lasagna, but it mostly tastes like reheated microwave lasagna. You know, it tastes pretty close to the Chef Boyardee sausage, to be honest with you. And for those reasons alone, I'm gonna have to give this sausage here a 2 out of 5.
I'd eat it. Alright, let's take a look at some bad pastors.
Regardless, we need to be prepared in general, not to be a soft-spined individual that can't take the persecution. And I'll tell you what, I found out today, I'm really irritated about this, that someone I like, a pastor, has requested for their church to be removed from the Faithful Word Baptist directory because they don't want to be associated with them.
Tucker White says, wait, did I end up, when did I wind up in this video? Seriously, he looks exactly like me. Nice.
And I'll tell you what, This is the problem. And shame on that pastor, and shame on any other pastors of these churches that are too limp-wristed and too weak to stand up and stand together with your Christians against the homosexual agenda. Now look, I don't care.
Martyr God, thanks for following.
And here's the thing. Like, I like the guy. He's a Christian. He's saved. He does soul winning. He believes in the King James.
The sausage guy, not this preacher fuck. I assumed you were talking about sausage guy.
Bible. It's a Baptist church, independent fundamental Baptist church. He believes homosexuality is wickedness, and he preaches against it. But just because they don't believe that they should be stoned, which I think is very clear. Right now, I draw a question to anybody who's going to question God's law. God came up with the laws of the Old Testament.
I know you think that. You need a little more verification before you start carrying out genocide in its name, though. I know historically that hasn't been the case, but I think here in the 21st century, before we decide to genocide an entire group of people, we should sit and think, did an all-powerful God write this? Or did someone write this like 3,000 years ago that had no concept of the real world because science wasn't invented yet and they believed in magic? Here's the new rule. If someone who wrote something and tells you to kill someone believes in magic, their opinion doesn't matter. That's a rule. I've ruled it. That's a gavel, okay? You see that? That's the law now. Tucker White says, the gay agenda, you say, with a link.
Now, you may wonder exactly why the left wants to spread this agenda. Well, it's because they're after this delicious boy pussy.
They're breathed by the Lord. And if you think that you know better on how to run a country than God has ordained, you think that you...
I don't believe in God. I don't think the Bible was written by God. So, I don't think genocide is great.
Your laws are better. Oh, you know, and this is what drives me nuts, is that the same people that say, oh, they complain, they threw the 10 Commandments out of our courtrooms. The same Christians that are complaining about the Old Testament law being thrown out of the courtrooms now will not stand up in defense of a man of God that is believing that God's word is pure and that God's judgment is righteous on the Sodomites. And when
Juiced Belmont, I'm not sure if it's just, but there's an E, so... thanks for subscribing for 4 months. Says, I don't care what you say. I believe in magic is a great name. Support your LGS. LGS.
You choose.
Sky Comet Fallen says, the Gospel of Hannah 66669. So let it be written. So let it be done. And Jamie Lynn Turner says, coincidence? Hannah Reloaded and Peter Hannah. No, we're actually the same person. Peter's a character that I've invented. It's very Andy Kaufman-esque. H. Baird says, the Bible was written by a committee that briefly kicked out Santa Claus for physically attacking people. True story.
To be disassociated and break fellowship with a fellow Christian or...
That's a reference to the Council of Nicaea.
...fellow church over something like that, you are just giving the enemy that much more ground and you're letting them win. We need to stand together. Now look, if you think they shouldn't be put to death, fine. If you don't think that should be the government's role, but you believe the Bible and you're against homosexuality, this is not a cause to break fellowship over. The Bible talks about...
I think if there's any cause to break fellowship over, it's your peers on a campaign to murder a group of people that make up between 1 to 10% of the population, depending on where you're talking about. Not a great idea.
About people who need to be kicked out of the church, like drunkards.
Oh, local game store. Gotcha. I didn't know what the acronym was.
And extortioners and people like that. Yeah, break fellowship with those people. Don't break fellowship with someone who simply believes that Leviticus 20:13 should be an application in our government today, as it used to be, by the way. As it used to be in this country. People who want to tout the Constitution of the United States. And these Baptists that love the Constitution so much, and they praise it, and it was a work of God, and we have this free country. Why don't...
The Constitution was absolutely not a work of God. That's even... I know that even more so than I know that the Bible wasn't. We know who wrote the Constitution.
Don't you look at the history? And now you're going to break fellowship over fellow Christians over this issue because you're too scared.
Or they just don't want to murder people for existing.
Because you're scared about retaliation from these perverts.
Right on.
Don't be scared. They're vile and wicked, and you need to be standing up and standing together. Instead of letting one man get ostracized for what he believes, for what the entire church believes. Because it's not one man. That's what the media tries to spin it as.
RPG Unit 1, thanks for subscribing with Prime.
Is that, oh, he's an extremist. No, if extremist means believing the Bible, then there's a lot of extremists out there.
There are. It's very unfortunate. The United States is scary.
Okay, and there's a lot of people that don't stand up and speak their mind, and they back down when confronted. And I guarantee you the only reason why he asked to be removed from the website is because one person called him. One person. You know why? Because one person called me. On Monday morning, one person called me and just said, you know, I saw your church listed on the Faithful Word Baptist Church directory, and I don't know, do you agree with what Pastor said? And I told him, I flat out said, yes, I believe that. I said, the words written in Leviticus 20:13 are the same words that they were. They haven't changed since the day they were written down up till this day. And if you're asking if I believe the Bible, yes, I believe the Bible. And he said, thank you, have a good day, or something to that effect. And that's it. Are people that scared of...
They probably are considering the fact that church attendance is at like 50-year lows or something currently, and younger people are very pro-LGBT. So, and even if they aren't, honestly, I think even a lot of like TERFs and homophobes aren't outright like stone the gays. It just kind of depends. But not the best way to keep your church attendance up, to go ahead and call for the genocide of a group of people that are more or less accepted by society. Seculoid, thanks for gifting us up.
Someone making one phone call like that it's just too much. Now we just can't have any resemblance or we can't be linked to you in any way. Shame on you. Shame on you. You're shaming the Word of God.
Jesus. Who else we got? Poet Lover says, so the Bible hasn't changed since it was written, huh? So he only read it in the original language? I'm guessing he's probably a King James Version guy. This guy Come Up Fallen says, he sure doth protest a lot, and he's so mad that this man stopped talking to him. I wonder if there might be something going on there. This is a trope I hate. I hate the trope of homophobe must be secretly gay and in the closet. I don't like that joke. To be fair, I'm not, like, trying to castigate you or, like, anything, like, for saying this. I get it's a joke. But as a trope, it lays the responsibility and blame for homophobia on gay people. It implies that centuries of, and more, depending on the area and the time, of being forced into the closet, being told we have mental illness, being killed just for who we love. It implies that is all the fault of other gay people who just are in the closet, as opposed to the reality, which is most homophobes are just straight people who don't like gay people or trans people or lesbians or bi or whatever. I get why it's a trope. There are absolutely some people who are in the closet that end up trying to deflect away from that in really unhealthy ways. So that's a story that gets printed a lot, like, oh, anti-gay Republican congressman gets caught having sex with a dude in a bathroom or soliciting sex from a male prostitute or whatever. I get why that happens, but the vast majority of homophobia and transphobia and all that stuff does not come from in-the-closet gay people. Not a fan of that trope. Bellum Guardian, thanks for 8 months. Says yay.
That's why we are not ashamed to put the sign out there, male leadership. I know when somebody left their weapon in one of our bathrooms, by the way, I had a suggestion today that we put holsters in every stall. That way that you people that are carrying, just whip your gun out and put it in a holster there. But
Isn't your holster? I guess I don't know. I've never carried a gun before. I've shot a gun. I've shot guns, but I've never used a holster. Aren't holsters attached to your pants? So let's say you're sitting down to use the bathroom in public. It's just attached to like your belt and your pants, and you just pull the pants down, and it's just like down there. Why would you need to take your gun out while you're in the bathroom?
Got a kick out of when the guy came to interview me. I knew what was going to happen. I know how those news people think. You know, they're looking for a story. They're desperate for a story. Their job relies on having a story. So when the guy called me and says, "I want to come over and do a little filming," I called CLA and said, "What do you think I ought to do?" And he says, "Well, if you feel led of the Lord, do it. But normally it don't end up very well." I feel led to do it. Give the guy a story. But I just knew. I told him, I said, I bet they go out there and film that sign, male leadership. And that's going to go out throughout the whole county. Do you know what we'd have had to pay to do something like that?
The trope is because people like Ted Haggard. I know why it exists, and I understand the origin, because that is a thing that happens sometimes. It just annoys me that every single time anyone is openly homophobic like that, the first comment everyone jumps to make is, I bet he's secretly gay. Like, maybe he's just an asshole, guys. Maybe he's just an asshole. I think it's more likely he's just a dick than he's secretly in the closet.
That was probably a $100,000 gift. I'm not going to thank...
DM Trey says, how do you not hear the gun hit the ground like, F, the sound of shampoo is deafening?
The person that left the weapon, however. It just ended, got in.
It also, and I understand, it's an insult to them, theoretically, but, like, that still casts the idea of homosexuality in a negative light. It implies that there's something wrong with them if they were gay. I don't know. I just think it's an outdated trope that deserves to die. Lagrode says, if a person is wearing drop leg holster, they'd have to remove it because it would be strapped over their pants leg. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I get it if it's someone even like Lindsey Graham, who you're like, but it's just, I hate when it's the go-to rebuttal every time someone's homophobic.
And mercy on that whole deal, but male leadership, don't you be ashamed. You go to a church with male leadership. Every church that's right with God ought to have a sign, male leadership, because that's the only kind of leadership, both from Adam all the way to the last part of the Bible. It's all been male.
Just once, I want a male preacher to yell at a woman and say, silence, rib, and just like as an insult, start calling all women ribs.
This is a man's world. And all the men said, get up.
Ooh, someone smashes a television. I'll always take that. What about Nick Fuentes and his date with the cat boy? Again, in situations like that, I understand why eyebrows are raised. It's okay in that situation. My issue is just when that trope is applied to every homophobe, no matter the situation. Yes, if a homophobe goes on a date with a cat boy, then it's free to be like, that's weird, that's hypocritical.
About to see the number one thing above all things I could talk about that has destroyed our testimony, that has robbed our
Vadim did a good video on Catboygate. Yeah, Vadim's done a lot of really great stuff lately.
home. You're looking at it, right?
Lately, you know, I mean, I don't mean that sounds like he didn't. No, Vadim's been doing great stuff for years, but I really enjoyed some of his more recent stuff from the last year or so.
There, that's it, the television. And the dirty, rotten computer and all the filth that comes on that, too. And you know that it is. You're looking at it right there. I mean, you're looking at it. If you want to know what happened to Monopoly, that's it. If you want to know what happened to Family Time, that's it.
People still play Monopoly.
If you want to know what happened to husband and wife fellowship, that's it. If you want to know what happened to...
If you and your wife's marriage falls apart because of the TV, you had bigger problems than the TV.
The good readers in your home, you're looking at it right there. If you want to know what happened to picnics and what happened to checkers and what happened to Scrabble and what happened to these things, you're looking at it right there. That's it, right?
You know you can still go buy those, right? Like, I can go get Scrabble right now on Amazon. I don't know how much is Scrabble. Not Word Finder. Also, there are, of course, you know, video game versions of all these games now that you can play with people. Scrabble. Let's see. You can get Scrabble. Oh, I don't like the new Scrabble box. What the fuck is this? Look at this box. Redesign the box, whoever owns Scrabble. Is this Parker Brothers or is it the other one? Redesign the redesign the Scrabble box. This is terrible. This is the worst board game box I think I've seen ever. I hate this. Am I crazy? Am I doing the Christine Chandler Sonic Blue Arms thing? I'm not trying to. I hate that box. Oh, deluxe edition. Look at this one. That's nice. $100. Anyway, Scrabble you can get for like, you know, $18 on this site. Hold on, I'll go to Amazon. Scrabble. Oh yeah, that box is fine. $15. Scrabble's cheap. Blackwing Hecate says, I had a girlfriend break up with me over my opinion of the classic talent tree, and wow. I feel like there are probably other issues at play there, but yeah, that could have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Board. Let's just look at board games. What board games can we buy? Candyland, $13. Candyland is an interesting game in that it's just literally a game that teaches kids how to play a board game. It's not really a fun game, it's just... It explains the concept of a board game. Old enough to know better now, says a friend got me a deluxe version where the board in a Lazy Susan has a nice grooved spots on the board to keep the tiles from moving. That's cool. Nick says, Boggle is the best word game, I'll die on that hill. I think I like Scrabble better, but I'm not really a fan of either. Yahtzee's okay. Monopoly is fun with the right friends. Life is fine, I guess. I like Battleship. Guess Who's good. Clue is okay. Now I'm just judging board games. ADD, man. ADHD.
Right there. Now, wait a minute. If you want to know why we have the blasphemy and the vulgarity and the permissiveness and the materialism and the worldliness and the carnality and all the dirty, rotten things, more than anything in the world, you're looking at it right there. Oh, Brother Brown. Oh, Brother Brown. I know you're right. I know you're right, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, good night, my wife. I know it's ruining our home, the filthy internet. We don't have any firewalls on it, don't have any blocks on it. And I know, and besides that, Brother Brown, the television, I know it's ruining. It's putting an ungodly, worldly atmosphere in our home. But there's nothing I can do. It was nothing you can do unless you just go forward. But you should go forward. You say, preacher, what can I do? She'd throw a fit. No, she wouldn't. No, your wife not gonna say a word if you'll just go forward. Yeah, if you just go forward. You say, well, what can I do? Well, some night when she's cooking supper and, man, everything's getting grilled in there and your children sitting around here like a bunch of catfish at the end of a drain pipe soaking up all of that filth, you just sneak yonder into the garage and you get you and you come back, and while your wife's a cooking, you say, children, you may want to move back a little bit. And you take this thing, you say, I hate that thing. I hate that thing. I hate that thing. I hate that thing. Now, wait a minute. When she comes running in, you be standing there like this going, I hate it. I hate it. She ain't gonna say nothing. Some of you men, a hen pet, you have to roost on the bedpost of a night. You ought to get some grit in your crawl. In God's name, why don't you just go forward? Go forward. She won't say a word. Not a word will she say. About 6 months later, she's normal. She'll come in and catch you in a sweet mood, and she'll say, you know, honey, I was somewhere today and I saw television and I thought about the nights we used to watch that, and you know what you do? You reach and grab the axe and say, she won't say anything. No, that'll be... No.
That's the weirdest advocation of insane abuse I've ever seen. It's the only time I've ever been entertained by a sermon, though, so I'll give him that. Nick says, bah, God, that's Larry Brown's music. Who's Larry Brown? Oh, that's the name of the guy. Uh-oh.
As Brother Al made mention already, that we have a game on Tuesday night, and I'd really like for y'all to come out on Tuesday night, 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. But on Friday night, we'd like to invite you to come out and cheer on the Warriors. It's the last game of the season, and it is a very, very important game. We are playing against the Falcons at Gonzales Baptist Church, and it's going to be a tough game, and it's going to be for a trophy. So come out and enjoy the game, eat some concessions, and cheer on the Warriors, and let's make some noise. And what do we have here tonight? What do we have here tonight? Oh, my soul, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Warrior Chief. Now listen, he doesn't just come out anytime. This must be a rare occasion, rare surprise. The Warrior Chief only comes out for special occasions. Let's see what the Warrior Chief is here for tonight.
This appears to have been 2015. Yeah, they should have known better.
Warrior Chief, come out.
Oh no, he's gonna do a voice. Okay, yeah, of course he's gonna do a voice.
And make great war dance. Stir up spirit in young braves for hoop basket contest.
What?
Do you think they're gonna change their name to the Guardians now? Midnight says, don't just smash an old TV like that. It's a good way to electrocute yourself. And Nick says they did know better. They're just being contrarian pieces of shit.
Wow, that's great. So, Warrior Chief, you really believe that if the people will come out to the game on Friday night and cheer on the Warriors, we have a chance to win?
Not if people stay home in teepee watching Glass Picture Box.
Oh, God.
Many times, young braves shoot fire circle through white Dreamcatcher.
Oh, this is the worst, like, ignoble, savage trope I've ever seen. Nick says, I hope the Falcons beat them by 69 points.
And people not make no noise and Jim deader than Custer at Little Bighorn.
I see. I see. So you think the more people that come and cheer on our games?
Yes, Kimosabe. That game is not time to sit still like totem pole. It's time to shout and make them great celebration. Make them noise like many rushing waters.
I see. Listen, I've tried to tell them that in the past. Brother Bob has tried to tell them. Brother Al has tried to encourage them to come.
Me speak now to all young braves and squaws. You come to game on Friday. Stir up great spirit in young braves. Make them big celebration. We defeat falcons. Bring falcon out of sky. Be great celebration.
Matthias Octavia says, I just tuned in and I am disgusted. Ditto? 0M80 says, yay football, church, and racism. This is American culture. Needs a cheeseburger. Needs a bacon cheeseburger. But other than that, yes. And diabetes. Sky Comet Fallen says, someone actually wrote this script. Someone wrote this. I think he's improvising. I'm pretty sure he's improvising.
Okay, folks, so you heard it from the great warrior chief himself. Be at the game this Friday night. An exciting atmosphere for our guys. Don't sit there staring like a totem pole. Let's cheer on the Warriors.
Warrior Chief, make them one more celebration. When young braves defeat falcons and bring falcon out of sky, we make feast, great feast, in warrior concessions. We have falcon nuggets.
Falcon nuggets? Listen, that sounds great and all, but I think falcon nuggets is illegal to serve in the concession stand.
No falcon nuggets? Oh, well, if you want falcon nuggets, you come see Chief after game. Me bring all falcon meat back to Wigwam. Now, all young braves and all old braves, come to game on Friday. Don't cost much wampum to get in. If my great father sell Manhattan for 24 greenbacks, pale faces can afford 3 clans to come in and cheer on Warriors.
Oh,
come to game on Friday. We make them great big celebration. Legend.
The whole selling Manhattan thing is a myth, by the way. Just for the record. I assume you all know that, but it's like a really, really racist thing that did not happen.
Tell of young braves with gold and green war paint that hunt great falcon. This story be told, and it bring fear to all tribes. With this legend will live on forever. Come Friday, it will be great celebration. Hey!
All right, there you go, folks. Warrior Chief expects you to be there at the game. This should be an exciting night. Please, all of you come, and we'll have a good time on Friday night.
Oh, God, that's so bad. Nick says, I wonder if the Falcons Church did something even more racist to hype themselves up against the Warriors. I don't know how you turn Falcons racist. I went to a Baptist Christian school growing up, at least in elementary, although the school was K, you know, it was kindergarten through 12th grade, so the elementary and the high school and the middle school were all in the same exact building, we all shared the same facilities and the same lunchroom. It was bad. Anyway, our mascot was the Kings, which is a weird mascot. That's fine. I remember one year, the high schoolers got in trouble because it was like they were doing like a Spirit Week thing and they were gonna play whatever our rivals were. I don't even remember. But they made a big poster where the rival team was in a school bus and the bus was about to drive over a cliff. And they got in trouble for that. Christian school sports rivalries are very strange. Derp42069, thanks for subscribing. For 8 months says, I don't think I was prepared to handle that last video. Love your show, Hannah. Thank you.
I'm going to close with one thing. I was reading my Bible this week, and I kept seeing this phrase jump out at me in the Bible. And you're not going to like this, but you haven't liked the sermon up till now, so why would I try and please you now? You're going to be mad no matter what I say. But I was reading the Bible, and I kept seeing this phrase, and I studied this phrase in the Bible. It's used 6 times, and it's used by God. It's used out of the mouth of God. And it's when the prophet is preaching to the king of Israel, Jehu, and he says, Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and he says, thus saith the Lord. He said, I will destroy from Jeroboam him that pisseth against the wall. Have you ever seen that phrase in the Bible? Put up your hand. Him that pisseth against the wall. You see that in the Bible. It's used 6 times in the Bible. And it's, you know, 6 is a significant number in the Bible. It's the number of a man. You know, there are different numbers that represent different things in the Bible. Like 7 is the number of completion. You know, 5 is the number of death. And you'll see that all throughout the Bible. People being killed under their 5th rib. Genesis 5:5, Acts 5:5, on and on. You'll see different numbers and significance of numbers. And the 6 times this phrase is used in the Bible. And you say, oh, I can't believe you speak that way, that's vile. I'm sorry, but the Bible says that the words of Jesus Christ are wholesome words. And the Bible says every word of God is pure.
And you heard it here first. Kids can say the word piss.
So don't accuse me of using bad language. That's what the Bible says. He said, I will destroy him that pisseth against the wall. Now, do you ever stop and think, what did God mean by that? Did he mean, well, what did he mean? Obviously, what is he talking about? All the men, right? He said, I'm going to kill all the men that come from Jeroboam. Because there's a difference between men and women. Men piss against the wall. Women don't. Okay? And
maybe the women in Jeroboam had that, I forget what it's called. They make a device that's basically a funnel for someone who doesn't have a penis, that they put it on them and then they can urinate like someone with a penis.
And so God said, he used that language, he used that expression. And by the way, that expression is only in the King James Bible. The New King James eliminates it. This is what the New King James says. Males. All the males. And you know, the guys who made it, they are males. They're not men. And God said a man is somebody who pisses against the wall. Did you know this? When I was in Germany, and you're not even going to believe this. See, why are you preaching this? Because it's in the Bible. Okay?
Blackwing Haggerty says, Hannah, if I sent you and Jake a copy of the Omega Code, would you do a video on it? What's the Omega Code? Hold on. Oh, I think we had a copy of this already, didn't we? But it was like really long. Oh no, I guess it's a thing. It's on YouTube in full, so I can just like watch it there.
I was in Germany, and I went to use the restroom in Germany in several different people's houses. I mean, totally different people. And even in public places, they had a sign that prohibited a man from peeing standing up. I'm not kidding.
They probably didn't want to deal with the splatter because so many guys are like bad at aiming. And like, yay, you know, surprise, I've got a penis. Hopefully not for very much longer. But I get it. I get it. I get it. But also, like, in a public bathroom, I would understand if a specific business or something decided to make that a policy and not have urinals or whatever, so it's just easier for them. I don't really care.
I mean, you can ask, my wife is from Germany, and I was there for 3.5 months. They had a sign in people's house, they had a sign in the public restroom that prohibited, and I'm not going to, you know, it was like a circle and a line through it, and it's no peeing stand.
Is it harder to pee if it's smaller? Not in my experience, because the medication I'm on, well, I'm gonna say no. The medication I'm on, the hormones and stuff have, let's just say shrinkage, which I'm happy with because I don't like, you know, the genitals I have anyway, and them being smaller makes me less dysphoric. But no, didn't really make it more difficult. I sit down to pee a lot. Sometimes I don't if I'm being lazy, just because, like, sometimes it's convenient, but, like, it feels better to sit down for me. I don't know. Just depends on who you are.
Standing up.
Why do I share so much with you people? Why do I do this? Why do I do this? Why do I do this?
And I asked my wife, I said, is that like, I thought it was a joke. It's like, is that a joke? It's kind of a crude joke. She said, it's...
You have pictures too, you think it makes it a bit harder. You have pictures of what?
It's not a joke. She said, no man in Germany pees standing up. That's where we're headed in this country, my friend. We got a bunch of pastors who pee sitting down. We got a bunch of, and you say, oh.
Imagine defining your entire gender by whether or not you pee standing up. I'm a man. How do you know? I pee standing up. That's how I know.
You know, you're being vile. I'm not, hey, then God's being vile. God's the one that wrote the Bible, my friend. We got pastors who pee sitting down. We got the President of the United States probably pee sitting down. We got a bunch of...
Jamie Lynn Turner says, I meant to say shrinkage. Gotcha.
Preachers. We got a bunch of leaders who don't stand up and piss against the wall like a man. And I'm going to tell you something. That's what's wrong with America.
The problem with America is people with penises sitting down to pee. I wish that was the only problem America had. Wouldn't that be like, if that even was a problem? It's not, but imagine if that was the primary problem America faced. Like, everyone has health care and are fairly compensated for their work, and they can afford upward mobility and to save money for their kids and to get educated, and they're like, you know what our big national problem is? Not enough pissing on walls. Nick says, because pissing against a wall is unhygienic, you idiot.
You don't like it? You don't like an old-fashioned Bible that tells you what being a man's all about? Because it's called the King James Bible. And if you don't like that term, piss against the wall, then you know what? Go to the bookstore this afternoon and buy a new King James. It'll take out that word. It'll take out the word damnation. It'll take out the word hell about half the times. It'll take out the word Jehovah, the name of God. It'll take out anything in the Bible that has any power to it. It'll take out anything.
Wasn't King James bi? I believe there were... I don't know a lot about it, but I've heard that speculation. I assume it's based on something, but I don't know enough to say yes or no on that.
That tells you how things are supposed to be. But you know what? 400 years ago, pastors used to stand up and preach that a man needs to be a man. Amen. Not a male. Not the males.
Those are synonyms. Stone Corbell says the King James Bible isn't even the most accurate English translation. That Christo-fash fetishize it is honestly bizarre and sad. I think that's why they like it, is because it's pretty extreme in its wording.
Editors of the NIV pee sitting down. It's because the editors of the New King James, they all pee sitting down. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to pee sitting down. I don't care if it's Germany. I'm going to Germany in about a month. You better know I'm going to stand up everywhere I go.
Okay. That's fine. You can pee standing up. I don't care. Let's do one more of these and then we'll move on to Ben Shapiro.
He said be nice to everybody because everybody's having a bad day. But preacher, it's hard. And you think you're I ain't gonna go there. What a waste of time to tell you that you're not the only one that's ever had a bad day. Get a grip. Suck it up, buttercup.
Gee, why do people not want to go to church anymore? They're so loving. Yeah, let's see if I can turn it up. Sorry.
It's my time to try to tell y'all that everybody you know, well, Brother So-and-so, you don't know what the hell Brother So-and-so's been in. I mean, literally, he's dragged into church this morning, not because there's been no problem, but in spite of every devil and demon of hell, he's still here, got a smile on his face, loves God. You say, well, he's just got it different. Yeah, he's actually got it harder than you do. You stop right there. I'm getting so much better about catching those things. Word wuss was coming out right there.
Annie43, thank you for raiding. Welcome, raiders. We're watching some bad preachers right now, and we're about to do Ben Shapiro. Go check out Annie43 here on Twitch.
Baby. Immature. Milk sucker. Not a meat eater, milk sucker. Tribulation. Everybody is going through something.
Thane, thank you for following, and 77 Sage, thanks for following. So yeah, that's Bad Preachers. This channel doesn't have a ton of vids, so we'll save the rest for another time. Did anyone have a quick cleanse before we did Ben Shapiro? Joe Aconite has one. Loud. Okay. That's Fortunate Son, though, so I might, but that counts. That's a cleanse. We get it. So, our good friend, Ben Shapiro, famous husband of Dr. Wife of Ben Shapiro, has a new video. I guess Sports Illustrated had a trans woman on the cover, and he's upset about it. Surprise. So let's see what he has to say.
That time...
Is his yarmulke getting bigger? I'm not joking, genuinely. Is his hat bigger than it used to be? It feels like that bit in Scary Movie 2, where every time you look away and look back, the hat gets bigger.
When Sports Illustrated was supposed to be a sports magazine, yeah, that was funny. Sports Illustrated, I was a long-time subscriber to Sports Illustrated. I will acknowledge that as a religious person, I always took the option, you can do this, of calling up Sports Illustrated and not getting the swimsuit edition. Which was...
I cannot look at women in bikinis. Would be untoward.
You know, basically material for teenage boys.
A Colston says, Jewish people have told me that Ben wears a comically large yarmulke. I've heard that too. I don't know enough to say that, though. Just because, I don't know. I don't know a lot about Judaism. I'm not going there.
I'd always call up Sports Illustrated and say, add an issue to the end of my subscription and just don't send the swimsuit edition. But the swimsuit edition has been a long time thing.
Her name is Dr. Mrs. the Monarch, please.
For Sports Illustrated. And always, basically, it was hot models and body paint on the beach. That's always what it was. Well, now, Sports Illustrated, because it has become another preserve of the woke, has decided that it is time to cram down on red-blooded American males a particular perception of female beauty, namely dudes. So, there is a trans woman who has now been featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
This is the trans woman whose name is Lena Bloom. Now, Lena Bloom has had surgeries and hormone treatment.
The funny thing to me is, I want you to show this picture to 100 straight men, okay? 100 straight American men, and don't bring up anything in regard to transness at all. Don't bring it up. Don't say, do you think this woman is trans? Don't say the word trans. Show them the cover and say, what do you think of this woman? And get the response. I bet not a single one of them would be like, is that a dude? Because she's beautiful. You know, I don't like talking about people's looks even in a positive way. I find it cringy, but you know, she's a model. She's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. She knows she's pretty. She's just like an attractive model. Her being trans, pretty irrelevant to whether or not someone can jerk off to this. Just putting it out there.
And looks physically like a woman. Right?
She is a woman. Look at her, Ben. Ben, look at this person and tell me with a straight face that this is not a woman.
Which, by the way, seems rather transphobic to me. Because if you truly, Sports Illustrated, wanted to make the case that trans women are women, then trans women shouldn't have to look like swimsuit models.
They don't have to, but this is the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue? It's the issue for swimsuit models.
In fact, trans women, I mean, this seems fat-phobic.
I think Ben is a little weirded out by this because I think he recognizes that she's like a very attractive woman and he doesn't know what to do with this. I'm not even saying he's attracted to her. I'm just saying I think he recognizes she ticks all the boxes of like traditional, you know, feminine beauty. And he's like, oh shit, how do I criticize this? Straight men are gonna jerk off to this. What do I do?
To me, trans women should actually look like Laurel Hubbard. Why isn't Laurel Hubbard on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition? You know,
I don't even know who that is.
New Zealand weightlifter, who's now going to be weightlifting in the Olympics, and has.
This is a swimsuit issue of Sports Illustrated, Ben.
Has more to do with
the bad faith arguments. Couldn't be any more obvious. We know Ben doesn't give a shit about like fat phobia or whatever. Which isn't even a phrase I really use. It's a bad faith argument. He just can't think of, like... And I'm sure he's still going to criticize the trans stuff, because he's transphobic. But it's interesting to me that that's not his leading argument, necessarily. He's trying to make a bad faith argument implying some sort of, like, fat phobia, which doesn't even make sense in the context of what the magazine is. And that's what he leads with. Because I think on the face of it, he recognizes, shit, she's attractive. What's that meme? Oh no, he's hot? It's that, but oh no, she's hot. Sky Comet Fallen says, Ben being attracted to trans women doesn't make you gay, right?
The sports than Lena Bloom. I mean, why is it that only...
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, does Ben not realize that trans women can look however they want to? I'm guessing. Simple Cat Girl with Bit says, I thought this was going to be another stupid trans people can't be in gendered sports because advantages, but this is just gold. I know.
A trans woman who looks like a stereotypical swimsuit model in a low-cut bikini.
It's the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Yeah.
Is now considered a fitting figure for the cover of Sports Illustrated. Seems very, very fat-phobic. Very transphobic, frankly, because...
No, it's not. I'm a trans woman. Ben's not. I get to make that call, as I am clearly the representative of all trans women. I am our queen. Not transphobic. Blackwing Hecate says, is he Tom Hanks, member of the Church of Scientology? Because I think he's acting in bad faith. I don't get the joke.
Because it seems to suggest that the only trans women who ought...
Oh, because he's acting in bad faith Scientology. Okay, I get it. That took me a sec. Sorry. Tom Cruise. You meant Tom Cruise? That makes way more sense. That joke makes sense to me. Okay.
To be treated as women are trans women who conform to all stereotypes regarding women. I mean, Lena Bloom, my understanding is, has had all of the surgeries to fake...
All of them. Appendectomy. Boom. That shit's out of there.
Female body parts. But as we know... That is, to suggest that is a requirement of trans women to be treated as women is violative of their...
That's not what they're implying. She's had those surgeries. Again, the bad faith is hilarious. He can't directly criticize her because she's clearly hot, so he has to make this bad faith sarcastic argument.
Of their norms. It is violative of decency. So truly, Sports Illustrated has not gone far enough. Until Sports Illustrated suggests that red-blooded American males get used...
May I say something?
Go for it.
Okay. Hi, Ben. You tell me that your wife is a doctor. I mean, he doesn't tell me personally, but he tells everyone that his wife is a doctor.
She is a doctor. Did you know his wife was a doctor?
Oh, she's a doctor?
His wife is a doctor.
His wife is a doctor? Wow. So, Ben, your wife is a doctor. Tell me, how is a surgery... to do a heart transplant on someone whose heart is failing any different than doing a surgery to help someone's gender identity reflect their physicality, like their physicality.
Oh, I can tell you.
No, wait.
Okay.
Shush. Let me talk. Okay. The person getting the heart transplant, is that surgery just them faking being alive? Because, like, equating, you know, a surgery to being like, oh, you're faking the physicality of being a woman. It's like, okay, so everybody that has like a heart transplant or a lung transplant, they're just faking being alive.
Can I rebut as Ben Shapiro? Okay, so first of all, let me just say that gender identity is a fake concept made up by the Marxist liberal elite, okay? Gender identity does not exist. You are a man or a woman. Secondly, all human beings have hearts. Not all human beings have female genitalias, nor do they have wet-ass P-words.
Well, your wife certainly does not, Ben.
Okay. I will have you know that my wife enjoys the rug burn that I give her on our nightly consensuals.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, his poor wife. Okay, so why does it matter? Even if gender identity isn't real, what if it wasn't real? What gives you the right to tell someone what they do with their body?
Wouldn't matter. It's all fucking... They just care what other people do with their bodies.
Okay,
it's very
so
silly.
what about like circumcision? People are just faking not having whatever the foreskin. They're just faking not having foreskin. That's messing up your genitalia as well.
Okay, first of all, I will have you know that circumcision is a religious issue for me. So you are impeding on my religious freedom by implying that there is something wrong with my cut wang.
Okay, well, you're infringing upon my religious freedom that Hannah should get a vagina. Boom! Roasted, Ben!
Okay, I'll join that religion.
Cool.
You smell like tortilla chips.
I've been eating tortilla chips.
I assume so.
I love you.
Love you too.
The idea of a trans woman who looks exactly like a man.
He's just
because
so
we know
mad that she's
sex
attractive.
I know, he's pissed.
Like...
Mike Mack says, Ben's wife's P-word is drier than a Popeye's biscuit. Ooh.
I think that, like, I think part of, like, obviously he's just being stupid right now, but part of what he's saying is, I think he actually believes, is that he would rather see a trans woman on the cover of Sports Illustrated that isn't conventionally attractive or conventionally feminine.
I'm sure he would, because then he could point at it and go, ha 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 ha! Look at this, what I consider to be a man!
Yeah. So it's like, he's like, that would make it so much easier for me, because I can't pretend like this woman isn't a woman.
Yep.
Like, you just look stupid. He looks stupid. If he refers to her, I can't remember what the swimsuit model's name is.
Oh, I don't remember either.
But he can't refer to her as with he, him pronouns or anything like that, because he literally just looks like a dumbass if he does that.
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, so Ben went from nothing counts, transgender people don't exist, to if you're gonna be a trans person on the cover, it should be this trans person. He's arguing in bad faith.
Really all in your head. Gender is really all in your head. And the person on the cover of Sports Illustrated shouldn't have to be a swimsuit model looking male masquerading as female. It should be a dude with twig and berries and chest hair and no fake breasts being treated.
I mean, if that's your preference, Ben, that's okay.
Also, like, how do you know that her breasts are fake? If she started taking hormones early enough, like...
I'm guessing she did.
You can grow breasts. Like, I mean, Hannah started taking her hormones at 26?
Might have even been 25.
25.
Late 25, early 26.
And, like, she has really good, you know, growth.
I'm very happy with how they've turned out so far.
So, like, not every trans person wants to or even has to get, like, breast implants.
Is it TOS if I literally stood up and just, like, turned sideways?
I have no idea. I mean, that one girl got dinged off of Twitch because she queefed on...
That's a little different, but I won't risk it. Just know that there's, hormones make you grow titties.
Delicious titties.
Blackwing Hecty says, holds up a plucked chicken. Behold, a man.
Essentially the same as a woman. That's when we know we've reached parity, I think. I think that's the really important
But
thing.
I really
now, look,
love
the reason that Sports Illustrated is doing this...
I know you do. I love you too.
...is for the bleeps and giggles, right? They are doing it to push forward the quote-unquote social justice agenda. The idea being that if they push forward a biological man on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a woman...
She's a woman.
And if you say no, even if that biological man has had many surgeries and hormone treatments to look like a woman, that is still a biological man. And if you say that, then this...
Again, I don't understand his obsession with this. Ben, there's a difference between sex and gender. That woman's sex is male at birth, but her gender is a woman. She's a woman.
Means that you are.
This is not a hard concept.
I have a question for Ben and his doctor's wife.
Okay.
His doctor's wife.
His doctor's wife.
His doctor wife. So there is a trans woman that I follow on Instagram. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But she had stereotypically male genitalia when she was born and started transitioning, I think, prior to being 18. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then, lo and behold, she found out that she actually has a blind uterus, a blind uterus. So that basically just means that the uterus is there, but there isn't like a pathway to it. So to you, Ben, is she a woman? She has a uterus, but she's trans. And she actually got pregnant, which I thought was really cool.
He would say she's a woman then. Because of the pregnancy.
But
people like this tend to view, if they can get pregnant, it's a woman. That's how they tend to think of it.
She also had stereotypically male genitalia.
I know. I'm just telling you what I think he would think. He would think that's a chick with a dick because she can get pregnant.
Okay, so then women with penises can exist.
He would say, I would guess something along I'm trying to devil's advocate for this. I just want to be clear. I don't believe any of this, obviously. I would imagine he would just say, well, that's just I don't even want to say what I think he would say because it's very rude.
Yeah.
I think he would say some quite derogatory things about people who are intersex.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just they see all of this as such a black and white, and it's not. It's so far removed from being a black or white, fucking binary, cut and dry thing. I hate it. It makes me so mad.
Developmental geneticist, folks. Sky Comet Fallen says she grew a uterus, ? No, she already had one.
Yeah.
They just didn't know about it
until
later.
So she was intersex, but didn't know it because her outward genitalia was male, so she was assigned male at birth.
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, not to diss someone's personal choices, but I had to laugh at his prudishness at the beginning. Every year I told Sports Illustrated not to send me the swimsuit issue. Yeah, that's very strange.
Why buy Sports Illustrated then?
I mean, it's just one issue a year, but like, Ben, it's not mandatory that if you get that magazine you have to masturbate to it. I don't even know who masturbates to the Sports Illustrated issue of the swimsuit issue. The internet exists. Probably just boomers at this point.
Okay. I want to be clear. She was born with a uterus, but there was no vaginal opening, so they couldn't see that, and she had outwardly male genitalia. So she never knew.
She had a dick and balls, and everyone was like, you're a dude because you got a dick and balls, and was raised as a guy, and then later in life figured out, oh, I'm trans, because she had been socialized as a man, her gender was male, or it was perceived assigned male, and then she decided to transition, and then somewhere along the line discovered, oh, I'm intersex, I also have a uterus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are somehow transphobic, or even though that is the biological truth, or that you're mean and vicious. Look, Sports Illustrated's a free company, can do what it wants, right? It's a private company. But there is obviously a social attempt to normalize the idea that biological men who look like women are in fact women, which of course is a wild degradation.
And those who don't look like what you would perceive as a traditional woman. Fun fact. Which what you were just making a fake bad faith argument about. So, H. Baird says, before the internet, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue was a way to get what was essentially softcore porn delivered to you, so boomers all have a special place in their heart for it. Oh, I know.
Of what it actually means to be a woman. A word with an actual definition.
No, we don't test babies' chromosomes when they're born.
So it's pretty obvious what Sports Illustrated is doing here.
Making a jack-off mag.
But Sports Illustrated didn't stop there. So one of the other models
And what cuddles?
on the cover of SI Swimsuit Edition is, of course, the tremendous Megan Thee Stallion, because of her tremendous history with sports. According to Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, Megan Thee Stallion is no stranger to magazine covers, but the rapper and songwriter always dreamed of being on the cover of SI Swimsuit, which is a weird dream. She remembers as
a
young girl looking at the magazine and saying, one day, this is going to be me. A couple of decades later, the Houston native would have several Grammys under her belt and make history as the first rapper on the SI Swimsuit cover. And she is the perfect fit. Amazing. Amazing.
All of that just sounds like your typical Sports Illustrated, like, swimsuit issue, like, bio shit. I don't understand.
And then, finally, they have an athlete on the cover. So who is the athlete who's on the cover of Sports Illustrated? The athlete on the cover of Sports Illustrated is Naomi Osaka. Now, you will recall that Naomi Osaka withdrew from one of the tennis majors after a blow-up with the media in which she just wouldn't do her media hits. And the ATP, the Tennis Professional Association, they said you need to do that, right? It is your job. Part of your job as a tennis player is to deal with the media, because this is true in all sports. You're supposed to do the press conferences. And Naomi Osaka then went out and she claimed that she suffered from deep anxiety. Not diagnosed anxiety, just deep anxiety at dealing with the media.
Okay, that can be a thing.
Okay, fair enough. If you suffer from, like, I know people, I'm very close to people who have anxiety disorders that ought to be treated with kid gloves. You have to make provision for that, obviously. Naomi Osaka sort of suggested that that's what was going on. You know what people with anxiety disorders typically don't do? People who are shirking media attention. People who just want to stay away from the media and don't want to be involved with me. You know,
is he gonna say they don't appear on Sports Illustrated? Because it's completely different having a private photo shoot that gets published publicly and being interviewed by a room full of reporters. Those are two different things, Ben.
They typically don't do. Pose for the cover of, I believe, Time Magazine has now done a cover on Naomi Osaka.
Okay. That's not the same as public speaking, Ben.
And also Sports Illustrated. So strange that she doesn't want to take questions from, you know, people who ask critical questions, but...
Your critical questions are literally just transphobic insults worded as questions, Ben. That's not a question. That's just being a dick.
If you are doing a Sports Illustrated cover or a Time Magazine cover, then all of a sudden, all the hesitancy goes away.
Yeah, because I imagine the photographer didn't feel the need to interrogate her over her genitals or her history or anything like that.
And by the way, it's not as though Naomi Osaka was being asked, like, vicious, brutal questions. She was being asked questions about, like, her performance as a tennis player.
Okay, she can still have anxiety.
Says Sports Illustrated.
Bellum Guardian says, Ben talks mad shit for someone that does nothing but whine. I know, right?
Illustrated. Naomi Osaka is no doubt an athletic powerhouse at 23 shields, 4 Grand Slam titles, and is headed to Tokyo to compete in the Olympics. This comes after defeating former U.S. Open champion Samantha Stosur in her WTA Tour debut at just 16. It's her strength and power off the court that makes Naomi a true legend. She's raised awareness about racial injustice, human rights, and mental health, cementing her as one of the most outspoken...
Wait, is she not even the trans person that he's talking about? Did he completely switch topics to bitch about just an athlete that does, you know, social justice, like, work and bringing attention to it? Hydrate, alrighty.
Professional tennis players.
He's talking about a different person now? Gotcha.
Yeah, outspoken.
Wow, he didn't get very much content out of the trans thing, did he? Because she's hot?
Except when she won't talk to anybody who, you know, has a question. My favorite quote from her Time magazine cover piece is she suggested, "I just don't understand why anyone would disagree with me." Like she said she was surprised that anyone would disagree with her about her very left-wing view of race in the United States.
Her very left-wing view, which I assume is probably along the lines of systemic racism exists.
She was named one of 2020 Sports Illustrated Sportspersons of the Year for her activism, was on Time's annual list of the 100 most influential people in the world. Finally, there is the Sports Illustrated take on Lena Bloom. Okay, so here is what the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition says. Quote, Lena Bloom began her rise. Remember, Lena Bloom is a biological man.
Trans woman.
And her rise to fame in the ballroom dance community.
He has to remind you because she's hot.
And has since broken numerous barriers in the modeling world. She was one of the few openly transgender models to walk the runway during New York Fashion Week in 2017, and was the first transgender woman of color to appear in Vogue India. And how about acting? Yes, she's tackling that too. Lena made her acting debut in the film Port Authority, marking the first film in Cannes Film Festival history that featured a transgender woman of color in a leading role. Now, Lena makes history yet again as the first transgender cover model in Sports Illustrated swimsuit history, and the first trans person of color to appear on our pages. More importantly, the 27-year-old uses this platform to speak about acceptance, love, and change. She's passionate about inspiring others to love themselves and be who they want to be, unless they're a dude.
Ben is sour. Hollywood rejected him. Yeah, have you seen Run, Hide, Fight? I can't wait for his Gina Carano film. I'm sure it's gonna be dog shit.
Dude who just wants a biological woman, in which case they're a vicious, brutal sexist. That'd be terrible. So, say the editors, among the many things we've learned over the past 18 months is how much we value being part of a community, how much we miss that interaction when it's taken away. This issue represents the culmination of our powerful community coming together during these trying times to make history. This is what the editor says. So, wonderful stuff. I'm sure that all of the 17-year-old boys who are receiving the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition will be thrilled to see.
17-year-old boys don't jerk off to swimsuit issues anymore. They have the internet. And they certainly never read the bios. I say this as someone who had Playboy magazines in the house as a kid. The photos are the photos. You don't necessarily read the bios. Mike Mack says the hub is where we go.
Man who believes he is a woman and has had
Sentient Dessert says, I was reading the articles. You know, funny enough, I read the Playboy magazines more for the articles and joke sections than I did for the pictures. I mean, some of the pictures were nice, and not even for, like, jerk-off material, but just, like, they're, like, nice modeling photos, like, in terms of, like, looking at the beauty of the human female figure, or whatever pompous bullshit you want to say. But no, the articles were actually pretty good in Playboy. Definitely boomery, kind of backward, sexist thinking in a lot of it, but there were some interesting Q&A pieces with directors and authors and stuff.
Surgeries to look like a woman on the cover of the magazine. Now, again, I don't care very much about the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Just as a cultural marker, it seems significant, right?
Is it? Does anyone give a shit about the print magazine Sports Illustrated anymore?
We're not going to play this gaslighting game where the left does something. They say it's highly significant. You point out that it is highly significant that we are treating a transgender woman the same way we would treat...
He said trans woman. Hey.
An actual born woman swimsuit model on the cover of magazine.
Yeah. She's hot.
And then they say...
Bellum Guardian says, I don't care very much. Spends 20 minutes bitching about it. I hate that. I hate when they do that.
Why are you even noticing? Is it important to you? The Sports Illustrated cover isn't important to me. What's important to me...
Seems like it
is the mandate that has come down from our cultural commissars.
Our cultural commissars, which don't exist. He's literally just talking about the cultural zeitgeist, and then proclaiming that it's some sort of totalitarian dictatorship because society is moving in an accepting direction that he doesn't like. There is no culture czar. Collectively, everyone just decided, and is deciding, en masse, fuck it, I don't care if trans people exist. Which is good! That's good, Ben! That's good. We just want to live our lives, okay?
That we act as though a male who has had hormone treatments and surgeries is the full equivalent to a woman in every way, including in terms of sexual attraction.
I mean, did you see her picture, Ben?
are women?
I would like to hook Ben Shapiro up to some sort of machine that measures arousal and then force him to look at this picture and whatever pictures of her are on the inside of the magazine. I want to prove that we can make Ben Shapiro pop a boner to a trans woman. Okay? We can put her in a doctor outfit if that helps.
Including in terms of sexual attraction. That is a very interesting and I think rather
Fast Lunacy says, we are the cultural czar, comrade. I guess so.
Portable take in actual life, but it's something that the media wish to cram down. For sure, for sure.
I can't even imagine what this comment section is like. Oh, good. The same typical jokes. Gotta love it. So that's what Ben's up to. Talking about an attractive model. Simple Cat Girl says, all in all, I hope that lady is living her best life. I agree. And Mike Mack says, we know Alex Jones did. Oh yeah, remember that time Alex Jones accidentally showed he was looking at, pornography of transgender women on a stream? Good stuff. Good stuff. You think Sargon did that too? Yeah. I think a lot of the same people that, like, virulently, absolutely foam at the mouth, rhetoric, hate trans women are the same people that probably fetishize them. Not all of them. Like, by the way, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being attracted to, like, trans women. Obviously not. Even if you had, like, a fetish or something, I don't really care. It's none of my fucking business as long as you don't treat normal human beings like sex objects. But, like, yeah, I feel like the same kind of people that are really like, oh, they're turning all the men into women. Probably the kind of people that jerk it to Daisy Taylor, is that her name? And Bailey J. I think those are the two trans porn actresses I'm aware of. I don't know about others. Infowars, Alex Jones appeared to be viewing transgender Marissa Mink's pornography while filming personal wellness segment. Yeah. Yep. I remember that. When was this? 2018? Cool. Carl said he doesn't watch porn, but was caught with X-Hamster in his Google searches on live stream. Yeah, John Doyle says the same shit, and I don't believe him for a second. I don't believe for a second that John Doyle does not masturbate. He absolutely jerks it. Alright, let's take a look at Terrence Popp on his podcast show that he does with a fellow alcoholic. Talking about some men's cuddling group or something, and they're gonna presumably talk about the downfall of civilization or something because of it.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Whose Online Is It Anyway, where the community...
Yeah, Daisy Taylor's very pretty. Let me see, hold on. Can I find a picture of her that is not lewd? Just because I want a comparison. Like if I could, how do I put this? If I could have any, like, goals in terms of what I wanted to look like, probably her. She's a very, very pretty person. Hold on. Let's see if I can find this. Like, if I had a genie wish, I'd look like that.
Guidelines are made up and the facts don't matter. I'm Toxic Male, and here's your host with the most booze, Terrence Pop.
You raging rump rangers. Today we got some good...
Wow, Terrence's first line of the episode was a gay joke. We're coming in hot today, folks.
Good stuff going on, because times is crazy, and we are not going to run out of insane shit anytime soon.
It's time for your favorite article of the week, Pop.
Oh, my God.
Is there anything that you want to say before we shove everyone's face in this like they just shit on the carpet?
All right, first of all, men on average, American men live what? They live to what, 72?
72, yeah.
Okay. And women live to 78.
Yep.
6 years. All right. Now, they're saying these women live the additional 6 years because they're emotionally stable and they talk to their friends.
Yeah, that's why a third...
I would imagine there are a number of factors that go into that. Probably certain diseases, like heart disease and stuff, might be more common in men. Slightly, I don't know. America has an obesity problem, so I don't know. Which I'm a part of. Working on it, though. What else? Since we're talking about averages here, dangerous professions that involve horrendous accidents tend to be dominated by men. I'm talking about like lumberjacks, deep-sea fishermen. It's not common, but it'll bring the average down. I would imagine some sort of emotional... I would imagine being a little healthier. Hydrate. I would imagine being able to deal with your stress and emotions better is probably also a little bit of a factor. But I don't know. Blackwing Hecty says, only two things come out of Texas, steers and queers, and you don't look like a cow. Oh gosh, where does that come from? Is that Full Metal Jacket?
Of them are on head meds.
Now, when we show you this next article, I am going to make the case for it is better to die at 72.
Full Metal Jacket is an interesting movie in that I love the movie. I own Full Metal Jacket. I love Full Metal Jacket. But it's two movies, and the first movie I love and I think is a masterpiece, and the second movie I don't particularly care for. All the training stuff is excellent. It's some of Stanley Kubrick's best work. I love it. And then they get to Vietnam, and I'm like, until they're marching through at the end, singing the Mickey Mouse Club song. Then it gets good again. That's like good imagery. But I don't care very much for the Vietnam stuff. Blackwing Hecty, nope, read that one. Vast Lunacy says probably weird socialization and food diet contributes to lifespan as well. Probably. Men also have a higher... women are more likely to attempt suicide, but men are more likely to succeed, which probably, and that comes down to method of choice. Usually men will use a gun to the head. Women will tend to do things like, and again, we're talking about statistically. I'm not talking about any individual. We're talking about broadly, on average, women tend to do things like either try and cut or take pills, which are statistically less likely to succeed, so that probably skews the average a bit too, with more male suicides. Mike Max says, show me your war face. Morimiku says, solid Full Metal Jacket review. I'm not saying anything controversial. I think that's been the prevailing opinion on that movie for decades. Good movie, though.
Men's cuddling group aims to redefine masculinity and heal trauma.
Okay, so I guess they're spelling masculinity P-U-S-S-Y.
This is why Terrence is probably going to die pretty young. I don't think he deals with his emotions very well, and instead he covers it up with excessive drinking. Something I understand historically. I've had alcohol problems in the past. But, not healthy. Don't do that. Terrence, if you joined a cuddling group, you'd probably live past 60 as opposed to now where you're looking at dying at 55 of jaundice. Okay, I don't think you die of jaundice, do you? It just makes your skin yellow, and then the actual failure of your... Like, jaundice is the result of the failure of your filtration system. Right? Yeah.
Well, it's a lot easier to spell.
It's a symptom of liver failure, so he'll die of liver failure. Okay. Red Werewolf says COVID's apparently exacerbated the gendered life expectancy gap. Interesting.
That way.
Yeah.
The 2-year-old group draws men from various backgrounds. A 37-year-old Mormon who works as an airport gate agent, a 57-year-old married father of 3.
What's the air quotes for? He's married.
And a 62-year-old retiree.
Download Dan.
Download Dan. Oh, Download Dan.
Oh,
Peter Puffer. Twice a month, half a dozen men gather in Plymouth meeting to help each other work through past traumas. Their chosen method of healing? Cuddles. It may seem odd, but members of the men's...
I don't understand what they find funny. Like, who cares? Maybe it's because I've also seen other people do something similar to this. I forget what it was. I watched some documentary a while back. Oh, I know what it was. It was An Idiot Abroad. It was the Carl Pilkington travel show that Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant produced. Good series. I'd recommend it. And I think he went to a cuddle party. This is like a thing people do. It's not something I'm interested in. I don't want to cuddle with a random group of people, although for them, I guess this isn't random. These are friends at this point. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. But, like, who cares? Who cares what other people do? If that makes them happy and it makes them comfortable and it makes them, like, feel like, emotionally taken care of in some way, that's great. I'm happy for them. I don't care.
Therapeutic cuddle group.
Imagine having masculinity so insecure that, like, hugging friends makes you think you're gay. Who cares? Terrence, you know what? These guys are straighter than you, because at least some of them have marriages that haven't fallen apart. Meanwhile, you're at home, circle jerking with your alcoholic friend, and making fun of people like this. At least some of these guys go home to wives and children that love them.
MTCG, Men Touching Cock Group. Say the practice has helped them cope with everything from childhood schmexual abuse to the loss of family members when they were young.
Listen, all right, my heart. If you've been sexually abused when you were younger, my heart goes out to you.
Does it? Does it though?
Oh, of course.
I've never had to deal with that. I don't think I would handle that well.
I would tend to agree, Terrence. You don't seem to handle anything very well.
But yeah, everyone goes through shit. Like relatives die, people, parents get divorced.
Is this the part where he's just going to tell them, like, well, just suck it up? Because that's gone so well for Terrence, who is a severe alcoholic who spends all this time blaming his problems on women and teaching people how to fight the government in an imaginary war that he's concocted and that he's derived from things like QAnon. Like, Terrence, you are not an example of a healthy person. What you are doing is not working. Maybe you need a cuddle group. Sky Comet Fallen says, some guy at the uni I went to walked around every Friday with a sign that said free hugs. Fucking Chad. And Mike says, these guys lick more wop than Terrence. True.
I mean, there's all kinds of horrible shit that goes on.
Yeah.
That you're just going to have to, and when you're growing up as a dude, what is the typical answer? You'll be fine. Suck it up.
Yeah, that's bad, Terrence. That's bad. That's real bad. Bellum Guardian says, remember when Terrence said that society is going to collapse in 3 days like 4 months ago? I remember.
Drive on.
Walk it off.
Yeah.
In fairness, I think he was more saying if society were to collapse, it would take like 3 days. I don't know if he was specifically saying in the next 3 days. Simple Cat Girl says, how dare men work through their trauma and heal in healthy ways? I really want to whack over these people's heads that not every touchy gesture is romantic. Fuck these guys. However, I wish they go to therapy one day. I wish he would too.
Be all right. And you know what? It works. I mean, we've been chugging along now for 6,000 plus years.
Ooh.
Across.
And the history of the human race is full of very stable men who never took their emotions that they were holding in out on anyone.
plagues and natural disasters and all kinds of wars fought with sticks and stones all the way up to atomic bombs.
We're really healthy. Just think of all the wars we fought with each other and how many people we've murdered and how we invented atomic bombs and killed a bunch of civilians. We're doing great.
Yep.
And we're still here.
We're still here.
And men weren't cuddling before this, and they don't need to do it now.
That's actually not even necessarily true. The idea of, like, sort of American contemporary masculinity, not even contemporary, but sort of classical American masculinity is different than it's been through a lot of human history. The idea of, like, platonic male friends holding hands or like kissing on the cheek or like hugging, cuddling, that's not historically always been considered a feminine thing or an emasculating thing to do. That's sort of a construction of like conservative American society in the 19th and 20th century. I'm not saying every other civilization, you know, was all touchy-feely. Not necessarily all of them were, but what I'm saying is, like, it's not the default, the idea that, like, men shouldn't ever have contact with other men in a platonic way. Kirthan says, on him saying plagues reminded me apparently there's been a new outbreak of the plague. Great. Mike Mack says, ancient Greece or Rome says otherwise. Yeah. Tube Man says, fellas, is it gay to care about your friends?
You know, there's other people you can cuddle with, bro.
Like
I'm
your
just
woman.
saying. Yeah, you could go pay a little, you know, Asian woman, you know, with thick wrists to beat you up for a half an hour.
Or walk on your back.
Walk on your back, or
and then some.
You pay her an extra $50 and she'll
for that, and then some.
Give you.
Remember, guys, this is the perfect picture of mental health. Okay, if you don't like it, go somewhere else.
The cranky anchor surprise. There are other ways to decompress besides snuggling furries.
Yeah, the extra.
They're not furries? Do they just... It's not what that word means.
They're 50 from the turn the crank on your spank box.
Chit.
I'm very mentally healthy. Chugs another shot. Mike Mack says, men were so manly in the past that they dress as women in plays. And get fucked by other dudes. That's the manliest thing you can do, actually. Because if you're getting fucked by another dude, you actually have a man's penis inside of you, thus making you more than 100% man by volume, okay? You're 104% man when there's a dick in you, if you're a man. Hydrate.
That's what it is.
It is what it is. It's a little. I'll read a little bit more here. The 2-year-old group draws men from various backgrounds. There's a range of schmexual orientations.
That's not a shocker.
I would say that those range from slightly gay to super gay.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Ha ha ha, gay people existing is a joke in and of itself.
At a time when traditional ideas of manhood are facing scrutiny and such terms as toxic masculinity are becoming more widely known through the Me Too movement, the group aims to provide new ways for men to express themselves.
Yeah, I prefer the old way. It's called Fight Club.
Yeah.
Tell me you didn't understand the moral of Fight Club without telling me you don't understand the moral of Fight Club.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing quite helps you hone your focus and paying it.
That kind of explains why Terrence has turned into such a fascist and wants to, like, kill people and destroy the government. He watched Fight Club and didn't understand Tyler Durden's a bad guy.
Attention in the moment, like dodging a fist flying at your face.
Yeah, when I was having a bad day, I used to go to the boxing gym.
Fast Lunacy says, slightly gay to super gay, so there's no straights. I knew it. Straights don't exist.
In Royal Oak. It's long since closed down now. Put on my gear, get in the ring, and I spar for an hour. 5, 6 different dudes.
And as we all know, men believing their only avenue of emotional outlet being violence has never led to negative outcomes for everyone. It's always good when men feel any emotion to believe the only way they can work through that emotion is through violence. It's worked out so well so far.
And it worked. I felt great when I was done.
Good.
Terrence, you are a 50s, almost, I don't know how old he is, but he's like in his 40s or 50s. He's an alcoholic. He spends his time in his basement with his friend, making fun of women and other men who are just trying to do their best to live their lives, while also planning on how to overthrow the government. You're not doing okay, Terrence.
I can't do it anymore, but,
Yeah.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, just like these guys.
Oh, God, stop it.
Although the meetups are not open to the public, members must be interviewed and approved, the group held a demonstration for the Inquirer. At the beginning of the session, everyone agreed not to engage in sexual touch and to ask for consent before each action. They gathered in a huddle and breathed meditatively.
No.
The cuddling started with men pairing up to do the motorcycle holds. See, now that... I think you're setting yourself up for a reach around.
Yeah, you're gonna...
You just read the part of the article that said sexual touching is not allowed. This is not a sexual thing. Again, the fact that they only think the outlets for emotion are violence or sexual expression, and there's no such thing as platonic connection, it explains a lot. It explains so much about who they are.
An invasion in your turd tunnel.
One man sits with his back against the other man's chest, as if they were riding together on a motorcycle. Some massaged their partner's shoulders or hands, while others stroked the other person's beard.
That is so weird!
Many closed their eyes as the room fell into silence. After 15 minutes, they switched to a new partner.
Yeah, this is disgusting.
This is what we call an all-guy group growth.
It's not good. It's not good, man.
No.
Oh, here's another helpful, healthy coping mechanism coming from Terrence. Drinking more alcohol.
For the second half of the session, the men cuddled into one large group in what they call a puppy pile.
Vast Lunacy says it must be so sad when the Geico cavemen are more evolved than these goofs.
Men lay with their heads in each other's laps, chatted and joked as they felt.
Terrence, have you considered you'd feel less alienated from society if you didn't have such a big stick up your alcoholic asshole?
Massive boners start to push on their heads.
Yeah, you know what? This is disturbing. I'm just saying, this is a sad state of affairs.
I mean, you know what? You do you, but this is weird.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to go...
And I think Terrence sitting in your basement and doing what you would do is weird. Funny how it works.
Hang out with dudes, I go to the VFW, we'll throw back some beers and throw some darts.
I mean, these guys aren't hurting anybody. Fine, I don't care. You know, like I said, if
seems like you care.
You feel like this is what you need to do. You do you.
This is weird.
It's just a little weird.
No, it's not a little weird.
Yeah.
This is a whole lot of weird.
Oh, it's just like people. You know, it's almost like a kink. You know.
No, it's not. It is explicitly not sexual. What do you not understand?
Like, hey, you know, I'm not the kind of dude who, you know, digs it when, you know, like rope is wrapped around a woman's breasticles until they turn purple and they look like they're about to pop like a couple of gigantic pimples. But hey, you do you. I mean,
these two things are not equivalent. What the fuck?
No. But this is what happens when you have eroded masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see more disgusting things, and they're going to try to redefine it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I mean, women don't want that. Women don't want a crybaby, touchy-feely guy.
Well, they claim they do.
Terrence, your wife left you, and your kids don't talk to you. I don't think you're an authority on what women want.
Yeah.
They'll-
Maybe they do when they're 45,
Yeah.
and that's all they can get, and they need somebody to watch their shit.
They'll swear on a stack of Bibles they want a strong, sensitive man. But at the end of the day, if you cry in front of a woman, it's over.
Yeah, so it's a done deal.
Watch Grunt Speak Live.
Uh-oh. Both me and Baja have cried in front of each other before. We're doomed. Seriously, though. Terrence is a fucking loser. I'm telling you guys, one of these days, Terrence is going to be on the news for some sort of weird mass shooting. It's going to happen. Tried to warn the FBI. But I guess they're busy. I was going to say selling crack in inner cities, but that's the CIA. So that's my bad. Okay, we've been going for over 3 hours now, and I want to go spend time with Baja, so. Let's find someone to raid. Dan Rossi Draws, thanks for 14 months, says that video was terrible, Hannah, but I gotta be honest, I want to go make a whiskey drink now. Well, as long as you drink responsibly, that's okay. Terrence does not. So. Does anyone have any recommendations for a raid? There are people I could raid, but I've raided them all before, and most of them recently, so I don't know if anyone has any one that they like, someone based, preferably. I don't think I need to raid Vosh. Plus, I don't follow Vosh enough to know if I'm supposed to hate him now or not. I never know. Let's just look at the just chatting and see who we can raid. We'll do Riverboat Jack.
When fighting means victory, we must fight.
Alright, have a good night, everyone. I will see you when I see you. We still got to do the patron-only live stream this month. I'm not sure if it'll be tomorrow or later next week, just because I forgot to announce it, and I want to make sure there's, enough time before that people can know when it is, so it might be later next week. Might do it Saturday or something. I don't know. Either way, I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
Every other hour, we are having open call-ins. Right now, we have